Hello, welcome to Simulacra Studio Presents Vampire the Masquerade Burn It Down. This is the finale of our Idle Hands arc, our first big non-introductory arc. And it is also a charity stream. So if you'd like to benefit Racis, which is a lovely charity that helps people who are dealing with, let's just call it fascism, very directly, then you can donate bits in the chat, and the proceeds from those bits will go directly to that charity. And the top donator of the stream will win a solo session in Vampire the Masquerade Burn It Down. I'll get with you after the stream, and we'll talk about character, talk about where you want to fit into the story, and we'll see where it goes from there. But anyway, let's go ahead and bring everybody on. Come on now, press the button. There we go. Stupid studio mode. Anyway, so these are our lovely players. Unfortunately, James is not going to be able to join us. He's dealing with some stuff with his new job. But we, as always, have McKenna playing Cadence Hughes of Clan Gangrel. We have Dylan playing Madison Faircloth of Clan Ventrue. We have Mo playing Willow Walsh of Clan Toreador, and joining us, very much pleased to have Selena Rhodes playing Miss Victoria Ash of Clan Toreador, and basically Grand Bitch of the Camarilla at the moment. So, we're going to go ahead and get into it. We're going to start. It is Thursday. It's June 20th, the night before the grand event. And we're going to start with Miss Ash. You are currently in a hotel called the Georgian Terrace. It is an incredibly upscale, very exclusive hotel. It's right across the street from the fabulous Fox Theater. And you currently have 6 mortal women standing before you. They're all of your height, of your build, and they are currently modeling exact copies of the 6 candidate dresses that you have selected to be the potential for what you're going to wear tomorrow. You have 2 dresses that are in very classical style. Bordering on like 1930s, 1940s, pure Hollywood elegance. You have 2 dresses that are the height of fashion circa 1999. In other words, the night of your previous party in this city. Including one that is a near match for the dress you wore that night. And then the other 2 dresses are the current cutting-edge, bleeding-edge fashion. Something that you would see, a mortal wearing at a high-ticket event. So, and these women are all utterly entranced by both your natural and supernatural charm. So they are essentially standing at the waiting, performing every command, turn around, kneel, that sort of thing, so that you can see how everything works out. So, of the 3 eras, which does Victoria choose?
She chooses the 1990s.
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 Okay.
I think she's trying to project that she's not afraid of what happened.
Okay. So do you choose the dress that is the match of what you wore, or the one that is of the same style, but distinctly different?
I think she'll choose the match.
She'll choose the match. All right. Well, you can certainly see that on the cover of Clan Novel Toreador, if you're so inclined. And yeah, so there it is. What do you do with the women once you've made your choice?
Are any of them particularly... Is any one of them more beautiful than the others?
They're all of about the same appearance. You didn't need them to model beauty for you.
Right.
They just fit the body type. But there are certainly some that tickle your fancy more than others.
I'm thinking I'm going to dismiss all of them, but the the woman who's wearing the match,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to do a little flirting.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Wrapped around your finger.
of
The
course,
other
of
five
course,
are dejected, but know not to display
the
their
costume.
displeasure. Of
Of
course, of
course, they're
course.
not. And I'm going to. What's my hunger?
Currently, your hunger is at 1. You keep yourself fairly well fed.
I'll nibble. I'll
Nibble?
as I'm kissing her because of
Mm-hmm.
course I'm going to be
Of
kissing
course.
her. I'm going to be taking little bites here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing substantial, nothing that would leave her lightheaded in the morning.
Absolutely.
Um, and I'll dismiss her after a few minutes of
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Very well. Once she's dismissed, it's getting close to dawn. But you receive a knock upon your door to your suite. Very curt, very polite, not overbearing. When you open the door, you recognize the person as one of Primogen Damas's ghouls. Your Primogen Damas being your replacement, as it were. But you've moved up in the world, so it only stings a little bit. And he's basically there to ask you if there are any last minute details that you wish to convey before the sun rises.
I think I would like. Hmm. I think I would like to have an attendant
Hmm.
at the door at all times.
Okay.
I would like anybody particularly with particularly good second sight.
Hmm.
I would like them to be checking the aura of of those who enter.
Okay.
Um, I want absolutely no unauthorized kind in the area. None.
Absolutely.
No
Well,
ghouls. No.
you have you have, with conjunction with the prince, arranged quite a cover story.
Mhm.
There's been an environmental hazard at a nearby
Yes, I got
construction
that.
site. Indeed, so a half mile around basically around the Woodruff Art Center has been evacuated, which there are some residential buildings there, so that's no small thing. And essentially, a private military company has been brought in to maintain the quarantine and just make sure that no mortals and, of course, no goddamn Sabbat show up, because that won't do.
No, absolutely not. If it happens again, I will be
Yeah,
furious.
no, you can't have that. But yeah, so yeah, he takes down all your notes, all of your details, and basically bids you a good evening and goes off to do your will.
And I
Hmm?
close the door and shack up for the night.
Okay. What briefly? What is Victoria's morning ritual, as it were? How does she prepare herself, particularly on on this morning?
On this morning, she safety is her biggest concern at this point.
Mm-hmm.
She is going to triple lock the doors
Mm-hmm.
to the best of her ability, and she is going to take makeup remover and remove her face, as it were,
Mm-hmm.
and ensure that there's no traces of makeup as she sleeps.
Okay.
And she is going to lay down for the night.
All right. You have a very large, plush, extravagant bed. The windows have been completely covered
Of course.
in heavy curtains. Pyrex. Dark tinted. No sun gets in this room whatsoever, and everything is secure. And as the sun rises, you feel its tug, and as it has so many times, you fall into the sleep of death. In a much less elegant area of the city, Cabbage Town, the communal haven of our coterie of anarchs, you have been having sort of a last minute strategy meeting, just sort of getting all your ducks in a row. Where's everything's going to be? What's everything going to wear? I'm assuming Willow is just in a state regarding that. Um, and you've basically got sort of all the brass tacks have been going. Alex is He is very distracted. He's been basically 100% in his headphones. And he lets you know that he's actually going to be leaving before dawn to go meet up with Vicky, which is the person he's been collaborating with. But as you guys are sort of wrapping up, you begin to hear a very strange sound at the door, the main door of your communal haven, and it basically sounds like thump, thump.
Cadence is gonna go see what's up. Do we have a peephole in our door?
No, there's no. When you look through the door, there's no people. It's just this sound, and the door slightly vibrates each time there's a thump.
What is it, Cadence? What do you see?
Jack shit right now. She's gonna open the door and peek her head out.
Okay. When you open the door, there's like, and then you see down at your feet a little radio-controlled car that has a cell phone, a cheap cell phone, attached to the front, with a sort of a low-light camera, low-light flash going. And on the back, there has been duct tape, a small but fairly ornate-looking wooden box. And there appears to be an envelope on top of the box. And the car just sort of repositions itself. It goes forward, it goes in, it just sort of rolls slowly right up to your feet.
You said there's a camera on this thing?
Yep.
First thing she does is she's going to put her thumb over the camera lens.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to is the cell phone, is it recording anything, or is it just a cell phone?
Do you remove it from the
yeah.
thing? Yeah. The screen is locked. You're not sure what it's doing. There's no record. It does look as though the camera is on.
Okay. All right. So yeah, she's gonna just probably take the camera off and leave that outside.
Okay, that's fair.
And then maybe just step on it for good measure. She's like, nope.
Step on the camera.
What?
All right.
What is it? What?
She comes back inside and she's like, well, there's a car, and there was a camera. I broke that. And there's a cell phone, and there's a box.
Well, it was the camera was on the cell phone.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind.
Oh yeah, keep going.
She's like, I got a car with a box. There was a phone too, but I smashed it. The camera was going.
On the RC car.
Yeah. Someone's getting creative.
All right, well, I have to see what's in the box.
Okay.
You want to open it? It's your funeral.
When you look at, like I said, the box is a very ornate, very very well lacquered tool. It looks like about the size of a box that you would put a bracelet in.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a wax seal covering the latch. And as I mentioned, there is an envelope on top.
I mean, I suppose I can take a break from swatching lipstick to figure out what's in this letter, right?
What's the seal look like? Is it an insignia, or is it just plain wax?
It looks like plain wax. It's very deeply red, though.
All right.
Does this hold any political ramifications that I can identify?
There's no insignia. There's no identifying marks. There's no writing on the front of the envelope.
Weird.
The envelope is not sealed, though.
For once, I'm willing to take the dive for this. So let's see what's in here. And I open it. I see what the letter is.
Okay, you open up the letter. It reads, "My paladin recommend that I offer this task to you, Children of Thorns. If you were to return this to Miss Ash unsealed, I would owe your coterie a minor boon." And it's signed Vikos. If anyone liked to roll an intelligence politics?
I think I'll do that.
I don't even know if I would know.
I sure do think I will.
I will try. I can't imagine Cadence would have any idea who this guy is, but you never know what the dice will say.
2. I got 2 successes on that.
Okay.
Okay, so I have 5 successes,
Hell yes.
but it is a bestial crit.
Lovely. Fantastic. Would you like to spend willpower to mitigate
no.
that?
What's
okay.
the worst that could happen?
All right.
Well, I got none, so.
Excellent.
Critting on a
So,
knowledge roll is like the best thing.
just to note, Willow is currently holding the box, right?
Sure.
Okay. So, yeah. Madison, your mind starts connecting a few dots here. That word paladin, the answer doesn't come to you immediately, but that word paladin kicks in your head. The last time you heard that was in reference, Alex said that Margot, who was the Gangrel, who was the Sabbat who picked you up, was a paladin of something called a priestky, which, from what you've understood, is like the council that sits under the regent of the Sabbat. And then you sort of are rifling through your head of like, who do I know the names of any priestky? Do I know? And then it comes upon it, and Vikos, one of the masterminds of the attack on Atlanta, one of the apparently a priestky now, a Zamisi, one of the more famed monsters of the Sabbat and of kindred kind in general. And as this knowledge sort of bubbles up into you, and the notion of a minor boon from this monster and this highly placed political figure, you start obsessing on it. There's no way that you can turn this down.
Let me see that.
You
Go
okay,
ham.
Daddy?
Yes,
I hand the
wanna-
letter. I
wanna
hand the
see it.
letter
Let me see
over.
it.
Go ahead. Shit.
All right, and he just starts like scanning over it, like clearly reading each line twice, and is completely absorbed in the text itself for the next several minutes.
I see Giaston in there, bud. You want to share what you're thinking?
This Vikos is the closest comparison I could make is a half a notch down from a Justicar or even a member of the Inner Circle. This is a big deal. This is an amazing opportunity. This is unfathomably valuable.
So we have to. Okay. It says to deliver that box unsealed.
That's what it says. That is what
No,
it says.
let me I probably misspoke. Sealed.
Okay. So. And you're like down for this, yeah?
Oh yes, of course. How could we not be down for this? Do you realize how valuable that is? Can you imagine having a minor
Because
boon
then
over...
we'd be dealing with a Sabbat bigwig, and that is bad.
I mean,
How
we've
is
already
it bad
dipped our
if we
toes
are the
in
ones who
that.
hold the keys?
So yeah, he owes us something, but you don't. That's too good to be true. I don't trust it.
It's just a minor boon. It's not the end of the world, but it's a multiplier. It's a force multiplier. A minor boon from somebody like that is worth more than 100 minor boons from one of us.
Okay, so okay.
All we have to do is just drop it somewhere and make sure she gets it.
I think that box. How big is the box again, Scott? Like,
It's not about that big.
Is it wood?
It is wood.
Hinges?
Yes.
What's it
Anyone
smell
got a
like?
screwdriver?
don't open it. You don't know what the fuck is in there. What the fuck are you gonna open it?
The seal is very big. The wax seal is very big. If you were to do that, you would definitely break it.
Okay, I was thinking she could like jimmy open the back a little bit and keep the seal intact. But
Madison's gonna smell the box. Like he's like sniffing up near the crease of the box, trying to see if he detects, say, the scent of ash.
Okay. Give me a wits and investigation.
I got 2 successes.
2 successes. You smell blood, but it's very faint. Like it is. You smell it definitely in the seal itself, um, but it's not fresh. There's sort of a mustiness to it.
It's very old, sealed with blood.
Well, if you want to give it to it, that's your prerogative.
No, I don't think I'm just gonna hand it to her. Maybe we can come up with something a little smarter than that.
I mean, keep in mind, I'm working security for this thing, so if you do anything that makes my job harder, I'm not going to appreciate it, Madison.
All right, well,
Okay.
I'll make sure that I do something smart then.
Yes, please. Mind you, everyone in there will have their eye on you very specifically.
Right.
Remember,
which
they
is why
did.
I don't think I'm the one who should be handing it over.
We could send it by car. She holds up the little racecar thing.
Cadence, you're so fucking funny.
What? All I'm saying is it worked once, apparently.
I'm serious. You're really funny. That's a good idea. But no, we can't do that. Listen, I'm really trying to get through tomorrow night. Like, I'm not going to say I'm trying to get through it alive. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm just not so sure how my spirit is going to be after tomorrow night. I don't know how much this is going to like complicate that.
Maybe we should hand it over towards the end of the night then, so she's not super pissed for the entirety of the thing. Like leave it in a bathroom or something with a post-it note.
Now that being said, there's a certain merit to boldness.
I mean, if you want to walk up and just like fucking give it to her, go ahead. Big balls.
We could
Good on
reframe
you.
this.
As that thought percolates through your head, you all begin to feel the tug of the dawn begin to affect you.
Oh man.
Well,
I'm gonna sleep on it.
that sounds like a plan.
I got an idea though.
All
Great.
right.
And I'm probably the only one who dies if it goes wrong. So
I mean, whatever.
If
Okay.
you die, can I have your goldfish?
I have goldfish.
He has a goldfish.
It's a joke!
Oh, I
That
thought
one
I had
wasn't
some
very
goldfish
good,
that I forgot
Cadence.
about.
All right. So dawn comes. You all retreat to your various rooms, and then, after a time, the sun sets, and life, or something like it, returns to you all. I would like everyone to make a rouse check. I'll do that for you, Victoria.
Thank you.
To the surprise of absolutely no one, Cadence is hungry.
Okay.
Hungry girl.
I was at 2 last time, so I'm at 3 now.
Uh-oh.
Fantastic.
Oof.
You made it? What about Willow?
I got one, so now I'm
Okay.
at 2.
Okay, so you're not at 2. Okay, fantastic. Also, Victoria, when you wake, you feel the beast tugging at you a little bit. It is hungry. It wants to be fed, and it wants to express itself. But you have a very, very full night, even in the twilight hours. And almost immediately, attendants are at your door, ready to start the schedule.
I open the door.
Yeah, no one's knocking. They're essentially waiting for you to tell them to come in, start
in
work.
that case.
Yeah,
In that case, I do my makeup.
yeah.
Has to be perfect.
Mhm.
I can't let anybody else do my makeup. That is
Yes.
not happening. Contour, get the eyeshadow right. Everything has to be perfect for this night.
Mhm.
So I do my own makeup. And I put on the lovely dress that I picked out.
I see.
And with a push-up bra for the added support,
Okay.
of course. And I walk out the door.
Okay. And you are immediately thronged by your attendants, who begin going down the checklist. No surprises. Nothing out of place. If there were any surprises, they were taken care of during the day. No one's going to present you any bad news right now.
Excellent.
So yeah, that happens. and you begin the process of making your way to MODA, the Museum of Design Atlanta, where you're holding the event. It is right across the street. Literally, you can see the building. You can see through the windows of where it happened if you're looking across the street. But never would any kindred worthy of the name ever set foot in that place again, as it was an Elysium sullied by violence. But you can look, and you can remember. And the next few hours go by like clockwork. And you are very, very busy during it. For the three of you, Alex has gone off. He is definitely meeting with Vicky. Cadence, you essentially you have your marching orders, as it were. You know where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be looking after. Mainly, they want you to be. Vicky mainly wants you to be looking after the equipment, and just be there as an intimidating figure.
Okay.
Just to make sure no one fucks with her stuff.
Okay.
But that puts you at various points around the affair, because her rig has been set up all over the event space. Apparently, whatever she's going to do is a very elaborate audio-visual thing. So you're going to have to be bouncing around.
That's fine. She's much happier guarding equipment than she is guarding Camarilla Kindred.
Indeed. And so, yeah, the suit has been delivered. It is perfectly cut to you. You are 100% mobile.
Did she get the skull tie she asked?
Oh, absolutely. It's like when you look at it, the first time you see it, you're like, "Fuck, she missed it." But then you see it's very, very subtly but very elaborately embroidered into the tie, so that if you look at it, it just looks like a black tie. But if you get it at an angle or whatnot, you just see this almost sugar skull pattern.
Nice. The weave has it done into it. Hell yes.
And you also you have something that you need to take care of quickly before anyone else is your hair appointment.
Oh God, she's she's like, I can't believe someone talked me into this. So she probably goes and gets like 2 French braids on either side, something that is very simple and will keep her hair out of her face, but is like not super fancy either.
Okay.
Utilitarian.
I mean, the person that she's arranged for this like gives you a couple of options. This guy's very, very good, very quick. He's all like, we can do something that fits more the aesthetic.
I don't care about the fucking aesthetic.
Well, if you're anything like my friend, it just grows back, right?
Yeah.
He's like,
are you gonna shave my head?
No. We're going like, do you trust me? Well, you obviously don't, but you probably should.
No. I don't trust anyone who I don't know get near me with a pair of blades.
He's like, all right, okay, we'll do it simple. Your
Thank
funeral,
you.
I guess. But anyway, so that gets taken care of. And you essentially, there are cars and things are arranged to get you where you need to go. Same with Willow and Madison. Let's go over the looks for the two of you real quick. I believe we discussed it previously on the stream, but for tonight.
Madison, did you actually go get good shoes?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
So Madison, I believe, is in a cutting-edge, fine-tailored Italian suit. Something more expensive and exclusive than an Armani. Willow, I believe you are doing the Paris Hilton sheer silver jobby, but of course,
but much longer.
Much longer and much more cut to your figure. So the two of you, having official guest invitations, you essentially are told that you are to report to a nearby parking garage that's outside of the quarantine area. And they do a very quick, very professional transition into an armored limousine that drives you up to the facility.
Hell yeah.
And when you get there, there are a number of cars sort of in this sort of slow line, letting everyone off. It's a subdued affair from the outside. There's not lights, there's not cameras, and then nothing that really is to draw attention to what's going on from the outside. It's very businesslike, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, as you get to the front of as your car moves up to the front of the line, you are a door is opened, and the walk up to the museum is dark, quiet, and up to you how you want to make this procession.
Do you want me to take do you want to take my arm?
It's your choice. This is your clan's party, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm still trying to collect myself. I'm freaking the fuck out right now.
Well, you have about 40 feet or so to wrap that up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I go and I put my arm with yours.
He switches the briefcase that he's carrying to his other hand.
Fantastic. All right, so when you get to the entrance, there is a few people waiting. One is a very out of place looking gentleman. He doesn't appear to be dressed to the nines or even in any kind of security outfit. But when you approach, he wordlessly steps forward and does a slow circle around you, just sort of watching you intently. And then passes you through on to the next person who has a guest book for you to sign with your places for your name and your clan.
Ugh, fucking guest book. When I scan over the guest book, who's already there? Are there like big names that I see?
Yeah, you recognize a lot of the names from some sort of the Toreador grapevine. You see definitely the Prince is there, Toreador Primogen is there, Bruja Primogen, Tremere Primogen.
Dr. Netchurch here?
Yes, he is.
What about our Malkavian pal?
She is not on the list. She hasn't shown up yet. You don't know if she's going to be there or not. And there's also...
Are there any other anarchs besides us?
There are. Vicky and Alex have already arrived, and they're here.
Like our Alex?
Yeah, you're Alex.
Oh, okay.
You see their names and their clans. The Baron is here.
Typical.
But you don't recognize any other names on the list. There might be some coming later, but yeah.
What kind of self-respecting anarch leader comes to a big party like this?
This is kind of a big fucking deal. Sect, like...
I was making fun of myself.
Oh, I thought you were being serious. I can't tell. No. I write like WW and Clan of the Rose.
Nice.
Madison signs the full name and indicates his true clan.
I see. So when you come in, the Moda has been completely redone. All of the displays have been moved out and replaced. There are roughly about 50 different sort of small seating areas with a small table with a couple of chairs. And they alternate between these seating areas, most of which have some sort of painting or sculpture or art piece with them. And alternating with them, as you sort of look around the gallery, you see ruined pieces of art. Things that have clearly gone through fire. There are bullet holes in quite a few. And as you're looking at this, Willow, you come to a small realization that it seems like everyone else was told to bring some sort of artistic piece or display, but that was never on your invitation.
It begins. It really does.
What
all
begins?
Starts here.
What?
Oh, apparently you were supposed to bring a fucking offering to the diva. God damn it. Son of a bitch.
So
I have been working on a little something that might work.
So, Victoria, you are in one of the upper galleries right now, where you can see everyone who comes in. You've had a few meetings. A few people have been brought up to speak with you at your preference. Obviously, the prince has you've had a conversation with them. Of course, you remember that little meeting that you had a few nights ago, which was very pleasant. Except for that little moment where she basically told you if the thing that happened in LA happened here, you wouldn't be leaving the city alive. And then things went right back to being incredibly pleasant. But you're looking down, and you see a pair of kindred enter, and you don't recognize them.
Uh-oh.
But that hand at your back, that one that's been guiding you, or you feel has been guiding you, you feel it again. And I'm going to make a roll for you.
Oopie!
Oh no.
Alright, and then Victoria Ash frenzies and initiative.
Oh god.
No, thank you.
Well, this sure is terrible for everybody.
No, it's a fantastic roll. So you see these two, and your second sight activates. Something about them just seems to radiate. There's something at the periphery of them. Something exotic, something old. Like they've brushed up against something truly magnificent. And you're consumed by curiosity. And furthermore, that hand at your back just gives you the slightest push in their direction.
I don't walk over to them directly.
Well, right now you're above them.
Got it.
Just watching them.
I lean over to the nearest ghoul, of course. I'm sure there's a ghoul
absolutely
at all times. And I say to them, in 15 minutes, fetch those two for me.
Very well. He goes off and prepares to do your will. Oh, which is, will you be meeting him here, or will you be meeting them in the private balcony?
Private balcony.
Very well, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, Cadence, you have been here for about an hour or so. You've seen the good and the bad, the great and the terrible stroll their way in. You've made a few rounds checking on the equipment. You've touched base with Vicky, with Alex. Alex just seems to be in his head tonight.
Which is fine. She expected as much.
Yeah. And you see Willow and Madison come in. And they're just sort of looking around. They're obviously talking to each other. And you know that everyone has their own little area. And they're probably going to be escorted to their little area very soon. So if you want to meet up with them, that's probably the best and most discreet way to do so.
All right. She'll keep an eye on where they're headed, but she won't go over right away. She's probably, trying to discreetly snap pictures of everyone parading in and then texting them to her brother, picking on their outfits.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, Madison and Willow, you are ushered, as it were, to your little area. And it is a little mini salon, essentially. And when you get there, you're surprised that there are some things waiting for you. Sort of in the back is an easel that has been covered with a cloth, and there is a piece of paper, a folded piece of paper pinned to the cloth. On your little table is a wrapped present, maybe about the size of a shoebox. There is no note or label on the present.
I can't open it. You have to do it.
Oh, it's like a reverse party. We get the presents.
Nothing that happens here is a present. I cannot stress to you enough. Nothing that happens.
I understand.
Here is a present.
I'm coping with levity.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the present first.
Okay. When you go to the present, as you approach it, your senses are a bit assaulted. It's very perfumed. There's some sort of scent or cologne or something that's just been sort of spritzed all over it. Are you going to open it?
You recognize this scent, Willow?
I come forward just a little bit. Do I?
No, it's nothing you recognize. It seems like sort of a melange of different scents, just very overpowering though.
Nothing in particular comes to mind.
Nobody else seems to be over in our little section here, and I don't like living in fear, so I'm going to open it.
Okay. You discreetly open it, and as soon as you take the wrapping off and open up the lid of it's another small, much less nice wooden box, cedar, and inside is an unconscious sewer rat and a bottle of lube.
What is it? And I sort of like.
And the smell hits you before you see it.
Oh. Well, is this a meme that I don't know? Willow, what is this?
It's probably an insult. Listen, Madison, I don't know. It's probably nothing good. Maybe you should put the lid back on it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that.
This is some sort of invitation to fuck the rat, sewer rat. Oh
Or
my
to fuck
god, those
ourselves
sons
with
of
it.
bitches.
So it's about this time when you
I start to pace.
when you
I get
Cadence, you come around sort of the little hallway, and you see them by their area, and you see Willow just pacing around.
It's the rat is a stand-in for Clan Nosferatu, and yeah.
You guys have been here less than 30 minutes and she's already having a meltdown. Oh, this is great.
If it makes you feel any better, it started literally before we came through the door.
I've been having
That
a
checks.
meltdown for a fucking week, guys.
I'd say deep breaths. I know it doesn't matter much, but yeah, no, actually deep breaths.
It's
Gonna
gonna be fine. You have to handle this sort of thing with calm. If you lose your composure, you've already lost the fight.
I mean, gotta admit it's kind of funny, but
What?
Whatever, you look great, Cadence.
thanks.
That's true. It is
You
very
look fucking
fetching.
fit.
I feel like a fucking monkey.
Are either
Oh,
of
hey,
you...
I point to the box.
The lid back on it.
Check the box out, Cadence.
Don't look in the fucking box. It's fucking KY. Shit.
She's gonna look in the box. She's gonna... Oh, that's good.
Could you hold on to that?
You want me to toss it out a back door?
I'll just carry it with you or whatever.
I'm not carrying this around with me.
Go stash it somewhere. I mean, maybe we
Stash
can
I'll toss it in a
Something funny.
dumpster.
Okay.
with it. Yeah,
Where
we
it
can just look at it
belongs.
later.
Is anyone going to
Wait.
investigate the easel?
Sure, why not?
Okay. When you look at the easel, there's, like I said, there's a folded piece of paper on it. And this one just said, the front of the paper says, for Madison and Willow.
Can I open it, guys?
Yeah, sure.
Just gonna open it.
You're opening the paper.
Yeah.
It says, I had a hunch that you might have needed a little something special tonight. And it's signed Salvador. P.S.
Oh.
I'm going to want this back.
What?
Huh.
What?
I think
this really is a pull out all the stops kind of evening, isn't it?
we broke Willow. Gonna just like poke her in the shoulder, like, yo, still there?
What is it? And I go to invest. I want to know what it is.
Okay. You pull off the cloth, and it is it's a picture frame. Under the glass appears to be, and Madison recognizes this first. Willow recognizes it second, and I'm not sure if Cadence would recognize this at all. But it is a handwritten draft of the perfect state.
Manifesto.
The manifesto.
Yeah.
The Declaration of Independence and Constitution of the Second Anarch Revolt and the First Anarch Free State.
Whoa.
He,
Whoa.
Willow is like pretty close to tears.
Madison starts taking pictures with his phone.
As you do, an attendant comes up to you. He says, Mr. Faircloth, Miss Walsh, Miss Ash would like a word.
Oh.
Oh God. Okay.
What a unexpectedly prompt surprise.
Yeah.
He says, are you going to bring your attendant as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cadence, hold my bag. And I
Wait,
give her my purse.
I have a job. I'm supposed to be watching the fucking tech.
You'll do that in a minute. Hold my stuff.
Actually, could you carry this as well?
Fuck you both, actually. Actually, fuck you both. Don't come all the way to Atlanta to play fucking page boy at a goddamn camp party. She takes both things. She's not
Okay.
carrying them gently.
All right.
Hey, the only thing in the briefcase is the box.
I gotcha. Okay. So you're taking Willow's bag and the briefcase.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the
Probably
the attendant
be alone with her.
the attendant leads you to the back of the facility, where there's an elevator. He presses a button. It takes it up to the 3rd floor. Now, the Moda is actually only on the 1st and the 2nd floor of this particular building. I believe there's a law office and a design firm on the upper floors. But on the 3rd floor is a large open balcony that he leads you to. Victoria, what is the decor of your private balcony?
It's
Ooh.
I've made sure that it's decorated in the way that you decorate basically a private balcony in the 90s. So
Okay.
gaudy as gaudy gets.
All right.
Horribly gaudy,
Okay.
but
So yeah.
in a nostalgic way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, you don't see anyone up here other than you see Victoria standing with her back to you, looking across the street. And this is literally a balcony the size of about half of the floor that you're on. And it is just empty but decorated for whatever. And the attendant leaves you on the balcony alone.
Do I
So-
notice them come in?
Yeah, you notice them come in, but you can
Do we
you
definitely feel the weight of her presence? Like,
I
does she
haven't
have
activated-
anything activated considering
No.
that this is her party? No?
there
No?
doesn't
Okay.
appear to be any supernatural charms being applied.
Just her normal one.
Speaking of which,
Okay.
I would like to activate my awe.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, so as you're approaching her, you just sort of all three of you feel you take a breath, you step forward, and you just feel yourself coming closer, drawn in by like a magnetic force up to her.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Good evening.
Lovely to make your acquaintance.
Hi.
Oh, wow.
Awkward, aren't we?
Yeah.
Hi.
And Victoria, they do have a third person with them, cut in a very It appears to be a woman, but cut in a very masculine and sort of harsh cut suit.
Well, I love my butches.
Mhm.
Of course. Now, do I get the same vibe that I got from the other two?
You do, actually. You get the sense that she has that same mystique around her.
In that case, I'm going to activate my second sight. I'm going to activate Scry the Soul.
Okay.
I want to specifically the newcomer.
Okay. You want to get a closer look. Gotcha.
Right. I want to know if I can what they've been through.
Oh boy.
I don't know what I'll get from this,
Okay.
but I'm sure it'll be
right.
fast.
I'm going to go ahead and make the rouse check for you, which you pass. Your hunger does not increase.
Excellent.
Cadence, if you could make a composure plus subterfuge roll, please.
Okay, let's see here. Composure, which is not great. Neither of these are fantastic. So here's a question for you, my friend. Does it matter if your entire pool is hunger dice?
Oh no.
I mean, it matters what those pools come up, what those dice come up.
Oh okay. God.
I wasn't sure, like, if the composition of the dice pool mattered at all.
Not really, just how it rolls out.
Oh God.
Well, that's a single success.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's
okay. 1, 2, 3. All right. You get 3 successes over her, meaning that you can ask a number of questions. Any 3 of these: the emotional state of the subject, the resonance of the subject's blood, whether the subject is a vampire, werewolf, ghoul, etc., whether the subject is under the influence of any blood, sorcery, or other magic, whether the subject has committed diablerie in the last year, and yeah, those are the questions that you can ask. You can ask 3 of those.
I want to know the emotional state.
Cadence, if you could answer that question, please.
She is uncomfortable to the nines. She doesn't want to be here. She's not. This isn't her scene, and yeah, she's just could not be more displeased with the situation.
So her aura just has that sort of jagged, on-edge tinge to it.
I want to know if she's under the influence of any blood sorcery next.
Okay. It's very subtle, but there is something hovering, scintillating around her right hand. And whatever that is, it's very much the thing, of a type to the thing that your earlier vision clued you into. And you have 1 more question left.
I'm not going to bother asking whether she's kindred.
Oh, fair enough.
What were the other questions I could ask?
If they've committed diablerie, what the resonance of their blood is. Yeah, those are the ones that you can ask.
Whether she's committed diablerie.
Nope.
All right. I address Cadence. You are quite the fish out of water, aren't you?
Well, duh.
my mouth hits my chest. I'm just like,
I'm a fucking Anarch gutter rat playing security for the cam right now. Of course I'm a fish out of water.
Cadence.
Yeah.
Well, here in Atlanta, we have something of an alliance between the Anarch. Not quite an alliance, but surely you'll agree that the people here are civil, right?
Yeah, but it's still not my scene.
Would you prefer them to be uncivil?
Depends. I mean, there's something to be said for a good brawl between folks. At the very least, it's interesting to watch. Even more fun if you're in the brawl, but...
Fair enough. I have taken an interest to all of you. I'm wondering what you have recently experienced. Is there anything interesting that you've gone through of late? I'm interested in hearing your story.
Madison, you can take this one.
It's really a question of which interesting thing would be most entertaining or appreciable to your
Anything of the supernatural variety?
Well,
Cadence is just gonna give Madison like a look, she's hoping that he's going to keep certain things quiet.
If any of the regular PCs would like to roll a wits politics real quick.
I think I do want to do that.
No.
I think I have 2 successes.
I have a single one.
Okay. How many did you get, Madison? Okay.
Dos.
Thinking about your more recent experiences, what you think might be intriguing to her. You know that she's been recently part of the alliance. She's a key player in the alliance between the Ashira and the Camarilla.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the big sticking points in that alliance is the emergence or non-obfuscation of Methuselah cults amongst the Cam. The Ashira do not like that at all. And she is married to a big-time representative of the Ashira.
That is very useful information.
Yeah.
We have been, I don't want to say involved or engaged because I think that overstates perhaps how well connected we are.
Mm-hmm.
But we have been peripheral to what my research indicates may be the awakening of truly ancient blood in this region.
Ancient as in Methuselah blood?
Perhaps. I'm reluctant to make such a declaration with full confidence, but suffice to say, I don't think that would be a baseless conclusion with the information that we have.
Do you know of any kindred involved in this awakening?
We have suspicions, but I think you may understand if perhaps I'd like to know a little more of your interest in the matter before we delve too deeply into the details.
I'm going to activate Dominate.
Okay. Which power are you using?
Mesmerize.
Okay. On who?
On him.
On him?
Madison.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
What's the pool to resist that?
Let me look that up.
And don't you get a bonus to that because you have the...
He most certainly does.
I have brain
Yes.
fortitude.
brain fortitude.
Oh, do you?
He does.
I don't know that.
I'm a grumpy Ventrue.
Yeah.
Ventrue get fortitude, of course. What am I thinking?
I mean, this will be cool either way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Fair enough.
All right. It's intelligence resolve.
Oh, all right.
And let me build your pool.
I actually have a chance on that.
Yeah, my Dominate's not much.
Okay.
Despite the fact that I'm an elder.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 successes.
First, I'm going to make your rouse check, Victoria.
Brain
And
fortitude.
you absolutely succeed.
That's
All
very
right.
impressive.
That is completely by happenstance a ridiculously big pool for me.
Madison, how many successes did you get?
6.
6. So, you tie, but Victoria, you have a messy critical.
Oh no.
Interesting.
So,
No.
I would like you to flavor what you say to him with the messy critical, with the understanding that Madison is able to resist it.
I very quickly say, I think you're going to tell me exactly what you know immediately. And she begins speaking very, very quickly, so quickly you can't quite understand her, but she's kind of obsessing over the knowledge that she's trying to obtain from you. And
So, Sorry, go ahead.
Unable to control the speed of her speech.
Yeah.
Unable to.
And you, Madison, you feel the supernatural force of her commands, but your mind is just a lockbox.
So it at first it looks like he's just gonna fucking spit it out. Like the immediate reaction is he like sees her talking and kind of like his eyes go wide, and then he like starts to say something and then takes a long, slow breath. Respectfully, I would like for you to answer my question first.
I think she's going to continue babbling unintelligibly about what she wants to know for about 30 seconds, and then she will calm down. And she will say...
He takes a full step away from her.
That's fair enough.
Scared.
He's just like...
and she will finally calm down and say, what is your question? Apologies for my... Enthusiasm. That's the word I wanted. Thank you.
As ever, the passion of the Clan of the Rose is admirable.
Of course. Now, what is your question?
Your questions are very direct, very pointed. It's obvious that you have an interest. I'd like to know the nature of your interest in the matter.
What do you know of cults of Methuselahs?
I am familiar with that particular brand of foolishness.
Well, it has come to my attention that in the Camarilla there are quite a few cults of that nature. Mm-hmm. And, well, my spouse, out of character, whose name I can't pronounce, Tigirius, excuse me. My spouse is not particularly fond of that brand of foolishness, which I'm sure you will agree with me is absolutely foolish, unacceptable behavior.
I can readily speak for our coterie when I say that we agree completely.
Mm-hmm. So you've encountered them.
I'm reluctant to say that we've encountered them because that implies a certain form of directness. We are not kindred possessed of your abilities, the potency of blood, the connections and seniority within our sect that you have. It has therefore behooved us to remain cognizant of such things, and we have not yet made any moves to engage with such things directly. I hope you understand.
Yes. Well, I'm sure you would like that burden lifted off of your shoulders.
Perhaps.
If you were to tell me everything you know about the Methuselah cult, I could be persuaded to offer you any of the art pieces within the museum currently. I could be persuaded to do a great deal in exchange for this information.
Speaking of doing a great deal, I actually do have a job. I have to keep eyes, make sure no one messes with the equipment. Is it okay if I excuse myself?
I'll take my purse back.
You can toss my briefcase. Do you have a locker or something? You can just... I don't want to lug it around all night.
I'll put it behind like a projector for right now.
Keep an eye on it, obviously. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is it okay if I leave? She looks at Victoria.
Could you roll high or low for me?
What would you want?
Roll high or low?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Low.
Okay. I would much prefer it if you stayed. I can find someone to replace you. Enjoy yourself. You seem to be quite the upstanding individual. Well, either way, I don't believe you've introduced yourselves. I don't know your names. Would you care to tell me what your names are? And of what clan you were sired by?
He glances to Willow first.
My name is...
I don't need to know what clan you're from. I already know. I could tell just by your beauty.
That she actually brightens up, like visibly. She's just like,
you, on the other hand, I'm having a hard time guessing. What's your name? I'm pointing at Cadence. What's your name?
Cadence. Gangrel.
Got it. And you?
Madison Faircloth of Clan Ventrue.
Victoria, I'm gonna make a roll for you real quick.
Excellent.
I have 2 dots of that.
Oh, I'm well aware. I know what you is.
I think I know what this is.
The dice are loving you tonight, or loving me tonight. You absolutely recognize that name, Victoria. By the way, this is another bestial failure, messy critical.
I can
He's
roll.
having all the messy criticals I've always desired.
So this lady's fucking nuts, God.
Yeah, you actually know exactly who he is. You received a briefing on this guy like a month ago. He's from a heretical bloodline that was recently exterminated from the Camarilla. He's blood hunted in 10 cities, not Atlanta. And there's sort of a low-key order from the Justicariat to keep an eye out. And if you had claws, they'd be out. Your instinct is to play with this.
So, you're of Clan Ventrue, you say?
That is correct.
Got it. So, can you... are you one of those Ventrue who can recite their bloodline?
I can, although I suspect you may not find it terribly entertaining or tasteful.
Oh no, I always love listening to Ventrue who can
Well
who
then,
can,
beginning
go
with
back,
myself.
Go back all the way to Ventrue.
I can do that. There's myself, Madison, and then my sire, who is dead, and Scott. I don't have the names of my whole lineage, but he recites all the way up.
Okay.
As is proper.
Do you say the penultimate one?
I go all the way up to the one that I was instructed when I was a youngling in the Camarilla to go up to.
All right. Yeah, he recites that lineage that you are aware of that was recently from the Justicariat handed down to be exterminated.
Fascinating. I don't pay much attention to the Ventrue when they do this, but I always find it so entertaining. So entertaining. And that's not entirely true. I do like to listen for one of those names you mentioned. I don't remember exactly how to pronounce it, but that's one of the names I've heard before. I don't remember exactly where I've heard that before.
I have my guesses.
Huh. Well, it is of no consequence. Welcome to, this lovely, lovely ball. I suspect that you in particular, might want to lay low. I'm going to, I have a question out of character. Is that name, is his bloodline related to any of the Methuselah cults?
I'm going to make a roll for you.
Okay.
Yikes.
I so want her to think that's what it is.
Can we go for 3 messy criticals tonight?
Great.
We can't.
Curses.
Excuse me.
You don't know for sure. The reasons for the extermination were charges of infernalism, charges of consortion with heretical.
Infernalism, so like the Bali.
Kinda, yeah. Consortion with beings and figures unbecoming.
Lovely.
And if there were a cult around that would be a much bigger deal than even the Camarilla would be willing to turn aside. So you can't say for certain that there wasn't one, but
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, you don't know for sure.
I'll tell you what. I am having a recollection now. Has my like bestial.
You want to bat him around a little bit more.
Okay. In that case, I don't say that.
Mhm.
Do I happen to know the name of this bloodline?
In the cam, it's named after the 5th generation member, which is what was the name that I had chosen for it? Tulia.
I'm gonna make. Can I make a? Let me look at my. Oh, okay. So, I am at a loss. I don't know exactly what to say.
Okay.
I don't know how to bat him around anymore. Can I make a roll of any variety to like a charisma or a manipulation roll, maybe?
What are you trying to accomplish?
What would be the best way to mess with him?
Okay. I will give you that would actually be a wits insight roll, which I will roll for you. Madison, if you'd like to give me a resolve subterfuge roll.
I can do that. Let me see if my brain fortitude works on this too. Nah, it's only coercion, intimidation, stuff like that. So, resolve subterfuge, what you said?
Yeah. No, yeah, resolve subterfuge.
I got 2 successes.
Okay. Madison, what would she be able to pick up from your demeanor that would be a particularly good thorn?
Like trying to incite him or trying to hurt his feelings?
Both.
Because there's 2 distinct paths. The incite path would involve insinuating that he's a coward or has run away from his bloodline in some dishonorable manner. The thorny way to do it would be to allude to how good his life would probably be if he was still a member of the Camarilla instead of being forced to slum it with anarchs.
So do I happen to know that he's an anarch?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So what's it like being, well, of the Unbound? I hear stories, but I don't. I feel like many of them are untrue.
The nights are interesting and varied, to say the least. The sort of things that come to your doorstep when you're part of the movement never give you really time to rest on your laurels.
I see. So why didn't you remain in the Camarilla?
Well,
you are Ventrue clan.
Willow becomes interested in her
Were you
shoes
not-
when she brings that up.
Were you not sired within the Camarilla?
I was.
And why did you leave?
I found myself growing uncomfortable, growing stagnant, growing stifled.
Stifled by what? What could possibly be stifling about the Camarilla? She says that without the slightest hint of irony, by the way.
To entertain that notion briefly, there is the history of the Camarilla is one that is wrought in iron and chain, as I'm sure someone as elder and well educated as you well knows. The nature of such a thing is static, unchanging, strong, not to besmirch the notion of something that stands for as long as the Camarilla has stood. But with that longevity also comes the calcification of certain injustices. the calcification of a worship of untruth, of the favor of status and standing over truth.
I see.
Something that is perhaps not so troubling for one in your position.
Oh, of course not.
But for one in my position, quite a bit heavier a burden to bear.
Well, of course, you'll replace us when we die. Why so bad?
I am not... You're familiar, of course, with the stories of the Week of Nightmares, other such horrors that have come upon us in modern nights.
Mm-hmm.
Horrors like cults that worship ancient things that should not be worshipped.
Such as that of your bloodline?
No. My bloodline is innocent of the charges that were brought.
Then why did you run away?
Because, for whatever it was worth, I thought it better to live and do more good, and perhaps someday unveil the truth of the matter than it would be to die, however heroic and noble that might have been.
That sounds quite cowardly, don't you think?
You would not be the first to imply such, nor would you be the first to be wrong in doing so.
You okay there, dude?
Madison, I'd like you to roll your unspent willpower.
Is this a frenzy thing?
Yes.
Okay. So I was happening to look through the book earlier, and I caught something that told me I get extra dice on this.
I mean, good.
Oh, for what?
Which is awesome.
Oh, yikes.
I got 5 successes.
You keep it in check.
There's like a little twinge, but again, I pray that we can find more pleasant things to speak of in the future as...
Of course. I do have to ask, there's a supernatural aura about you. I'm fascinated to know of any Tremere you may have come in contact with.
Not many of those in the movement.
Yeah, I don't think we
Oh, we know that's not true.
Cadence is actually thinking. She's like, I don't think we've actually met any.
I know some, but I haven't. I did spend some time perusing the texts of a couple of my fellows in the movement, but I doubt that would leave something worthy of note to one such as yourself.
Victoria, in the periphery of your vision, you see an attendant sort of make a hand gesture that lets you know that there are people waiting on you.
I will have to continue this conversation with you later, but we'll catch up.
Of course. I have some things about a Methuselah cult I'd like to talk to you about later.
Oh, I would absolutely love to hear about that. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
And she bows.
Okay. An attendant comes and leads the three of you away. Victoria, you are met on your balcony by a man that is you don't know him at all. It's as though something about him precludes you remembering him. And I'm going to make a quick roll for you. And you remember why, because he's a catif. But then you realize why you should remember him, and you see the black dot branded on his hand. That is the sign of the Alistair. Essentially, the members of the Camarilla who have destroyed one of the Red List, and thus, by the Ivory Tower, they can do whatever they want.
Well, hello. You are a distinguished guest. Excuse me.
Indeed.
I've had a bit to drink. Speaking of which, I motion to one of my attendants.
Mm-hmm.
More wine.
Oh.
More wine.
Oh, wine. Of course, the cold stuff with your potency of blood, it doesn't Doesn't
Doesn't
do the
seem to be
trick, but
No.
it's still good. It's
Still
still
good.
good. He says, Miss Ash, I hate to bother you, but I did notice that you were keeping some interesting company.
They caught my eye.
In
What is so
particular,
interesting about them?
let me just put it this way. I'm aware of what Lady Diana has asked of you regarding less savory guests. I would be honored if you would allow me to attend to that matter.
To the Gangrel?
Yes.
Excuse you?
You're not around. You're not around for this.
Not around.
Oh,
You
right.
guys have been
Fuck.
let off.
Fair enough. Sorry about that.
But what did you have in mind, if I may ask?
He says, I'm acquainted with this one, although I haven't seen her in a while. I know exactly how to get under her skin.
I bow and I say, if you would have my appreciation. And I want to imply with that they'll have a trivial or minor boon.
He bows graciously and heads off to do your bidding. So yeah, the three of you make your way back down to the main floor, and the party is in full swing when you come in. Lizzie, Vicky catches your eye, Cadence, and she sort of like frantically waves for you to do your fucking job.
She's like, yeah, whatever, and she goes and does it, and then she just sends a text as she's walking. She's like, speak to the head bitch. She had me occupied.
And Madison and Will, you are left to your devices.
God, she was so pretty. It makes me want to fucking rip my chest open.
Okay. So, first of all, that is a strangely disjointed response. And second of all, do you feel like that went really well? Because I felt like it actually went really well.
I think it went well. I actually cannot tell if it went well. She was just like, ugh.
Just like,
She's like they're not joking around when they talk about how charming she is.
I mean, she's pretty intense, that's for fucking sure.
Yeah, she is.
Who has the briefcase, by the way?
Cadence still does. She said she was going to stash it behind one of the projectors.
Okay, you can do that.
Before the night is done, I definitely need to take something of hers because I need to.
Like a napkin or something?
Anything really.
Okay. We'll figure that out. So I guess we just fucking hang out now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Willow, are you okay?
No.
Okay. Do you need to sit? Are you thirsty? Like,
No. I'm just upset she's gone, I guess. I don't know. Let's look at art
okay.
or
Must
something.
be a Toreador thing.
Maybe.
So yeah, you guys start to make the rounds. Everyone who you might expect to be here is most certainly here. There are a number of people you just don't recognize at all. You pass by the prince briefly, and she gives you a nod of acknowledgement to the two of you.
I'll return that.
Mm-hmm. I'll give her one back.
Eventually, you make your way orbiting to where the Baron has sort of set up his little court, and he is engaged in lively debate with some of the higher up Camarilla members, and he actually looks over to Madison and Willow and gives an inviting crick of the head.
Oh, hell yeah.
I wonder what they're talking about.
As you approach, you definitely... It's the old argument. The old argument that was held when Anarchs were allowed back in Elysium. And he is. You can tell he's competent at it, but there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of cam status in the direct vicinity of him.
All right, I don't like this guy, but I'll back him up when it comes down to
Listen,
this
I'll
particular
help him
topic.
flex, you know?
Okay.
And
So yeah, we'll get back to that, but first I want to talk to Cadence for a little bit.
Yep.
So you do your rounds, you check the things, stash the briefcase.
Mm-hmm.
You get some surreptitious messages from Vicky. Check this thing, check that thing. Like she has you literally running all around this place.
She's just so frustrated. She hates the party. She doesn't like being someone else's errand kid. She does what she's told, and when she gets a free moment, she's texting her brother all of the complaints that she has.
Nice. And while throughout this, the beast is just there.
Yep.
It's like, you know what? These fuckers bleed just the same. Let's get a little. Come on.
Ugh. And she's like, I'm not. She's not going to bite anyone here without permission. She doesn't. She wants to,
Mhm.
but at the same time,
They've
if she was
gotta-
here by herself,
Mhm.
she'd be all over it. But she's here with Madison and Cadence and Willow, and she does not want to.
Fuckers like these gotta keep cattle somewhere. You know it's on tap. Come on, just ask. Just go for it.
They won't miss one.
Yeah, she's be like, you know what? It'll take the edge off. She's gonna look around to see if there are any unattended humans.
There are none in sight. While you're looking around, I'd like you to roll double wits, please.
Okay.
Don't
And-
let him
Include
steal
your-
my briefcase, Kate.
Include your hunger dice, please.
Of course.
Wasn't
let
a
him
bad
steal
idea
my
to leave it a very.
This is
Wasn't it
actually
a bad
pretty.
idea to leave something super important with a gangrel who has a job. Was that maybe a?
Well, I
poor
mean, she
part?
didn't leave it in plain
Sorry.
sight. She like stuck it under some heavy equipment so that people wouldn't see it.
Because it's more exciting.
Ooh, that's fancy. That's 5 successes. I like that.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
See, that's why I left it with Cadence.
Indeed.
It really is.
So, as the beast is tugging at you, as you're sort of looking around where they might be holding the refreshments, just the hairs on the back of your neck shoot up, and you turn around on a dime, and there is a fist, maybe half an inch from your nose, where a punch has been pulled.
Fuck!
And you are taken aback slightly because you recognize this person.
Oh fuck.
And we'll get into that after our break. Hello everyone, welcome back to Burn It Down, Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, presented by Simulacra Studios. We are in the middle of our finale of the arc, the Idle Hands arc. We're having a charity stream. If you haven't donated yet, go ahead and cheer in the chat. Current top bid is 1,500 bits. Absolutely try and beat that. And you will win a solo session in the campaign. Before we get back into the role play, does anyone have anything they want to talk about real quick?
Hi. I just want to say hi, Mom, because I know my mom is watching, and hi, Marshall, because that's my best friend. And can I talk about the podcast that I'm doing?
We'll talk about it at the end.
Okay,
You said you wanted to say hi, Mom, so I was giving you a chance to say hi, Mom.
fair enough.
Anyway.
Little plug phase at the end.
So, Cadence.
Yeah.
We're going back in time a little bit. It's Boston.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the old coterie haven. Currently, the leader, for lack of a better term, of your coterie, Marissa, of Clan Tremere, is well into a screaming match. Not really a match, just a session, really, with Jeremy, the catif of the group. It was a screaming match at you. when you weren't acting fast enough to get the contact or location information of the Anarchs. But Jeremy was able to, within about 30 seconds, slip in and get her rage. And she has been at him for a good 5 minutes. You know that if you were to try and jump back in, that it would just make it worse for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting to the point where you think someone might lose it when a couple of things happen all at once. First thing that you notice is your phone vibrates, and it's the text you've been waiting for. It's the location.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a crash. When you look down, you lose sight of what's going on in the room, but there is a crash. The room gets darker, and then a door slams open and then slams shut. And when you sort of get your bearings, Marissa is just standing there in the middle of the room, absolutely fuming, having just dodged a lamp.
Great. So Cadence is just going to just gently slide, if there's like a coffee table or something, or maybe, the floor, she's going to gently slide the phone over, and she's going to, roll her eyes and as calmly as she can walk away from the situation, though she's probably like shaking a little bit.
Okay, so are you giving the phone to her?
She's just she wants to, because that's the information that caused the fight in the first place.
She waves you off. She doesn't want anything to do with you right now.
All right, well, fuck you too. And then she walks out and goes to go find Jeremy to thank him for having her back.
Okay.
Yes.
You head out. It's been like this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. And you've had tentative contact with the Anarchs, and they can smell it.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just made the subtlest of offers. But you go out and you find Jeremy. He's smoking. It's raining. Kind of a cold winter rain. And he's just sort of rocking, barely containing his anger and probably his beast too.
She's gonna give him a minute, and when she thinks he's calmed down enough, she's gonna go over and she's gonna say, "You didn't have to do that. I can take care of myself."
Cadence, go fuck yourself. I do what I want.
Okay, fine. You do.
Get
what you
on the
want.
fucking job. She's not gonna get better unless you do what you're fucking told to.
Hey. I'm waiting on folks too, alright? And if she had waited 5 goddamn fucking minutes, then maybe she would have gotten the info she wanted.
I'm beyond caring right now.
Fine. Sit there and stew. She, starts to go off, and player doesn't know what the layout of this haven is, but if there's a spot that's hers, she's gonna go to that, and probably tear into a pillow so she doesn't tear into a person.
You head into your room, and the one rule: don't go into my place. Go, it's pretty clear. Your big pillow has been torn open.
Who touched her stuff?
Who do you think? So, Cadence, is this the night?
Yeah, this is.
Okay. So, Victoria, you have an excellent vantage point to see this. To see this Alistair Katif very deftly almost punch the Gangrel, but not quite, because that would violate Elysium. And you see the two of them sort of locking eyes, and you flip on one of the audio leads that is one of the shotgun mics in that area, so you can hear every word.
I'd say you're a sight for sore eyes, but your sight is making my eyes sore.
And they're like, who the fuck let you in? And as he's sort of,
Hell if I know, they got terrible taste.
as he's kind of flexing his hand, you also notice the new. This wasn't there before. The black dot.
Would she know what that means?
Give me an intelligence politics roll.
Okay. Help if I actually looked at my character sheet. She does not.
She does not. Yeah, no.
She does not.
You're not sure, but it's new, and it's a mark, and that's weird. So
Maybe he stabbed himself with a fucking pen, and she doesn't know. She doesn't care. Just...
So who you running with these nights, huh?
I don't like that's any of your business. I'm here doing security. Let me do my job.
It's all like security.
Yeah.
Oh, more likely you're somebody's fucking errand girl.
Someone's got to make sure the equipment stays intact. I don't want to be here. But...
What'd you put behind the projector? A fucking bomb? Should I go check it out?
Oh my god, Cadence,
Is the
something.
Madison, is the briefcase locked?
The briefcase is like not muted. The briefcase has like the stock combination, like the lock that comes on a briefcase, but it's not
Okay.
like
3
special lock.
dials.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to know, like, does it have like a? Is it locked though, regardless of?
It is on a basic level locked, yes.
Okay. And she's like, just shit from my coterie. They didn't want to carry the bags around.
Oh, so you have a coterie,
Yeah.
and you're carrying
yeah,
the bags for them. How long until you run out on them?
I don't know. They don't get into shouting matches with me, so probably a lot longer than it took me to stay with you fuckers.
Oh, well, I'm sure your incompetence will make it come to that point pretty soon. Cadence, I feel like it wouldn't
Yeah,
be
she needs
too
to-
terribly much to
Yeah.
ask for a willpower roll.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
All right.
This boy about to get it.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, get hit. Oh.
I should get hit. I actually need to look up because I don't actually have it marked right now. I know that I have spent one, but I don't remember what my max is because I am
It's your resolve plus your composure
resolved
is
plus.
your total.
Okay,
Start a fight in my Elysium.
I mean, that would be a thing.
that would be a thing. And you don't roll hunger for
You
willpower.
not roll hunger for willpower.
While she's rolling, Scott, is using powers of the blood in Elysium still a violation of Elysium?
It depends on the Elysium.
Okay.
I don't imagine that this is a proper Elysium because a single elder organized it. But that's just my thought. I don't know if it's true.
It absolutely is an Elysium, and that would have been conveyed to you.
Okay.
It is the sort of the underlying note was absolutely no violence. But anyway, how'd that roll work out?
1.
Okay.
Okay, that's enough.
You are the beast is seething. It is ready to tear this guy a new one. You are barely able to hold it together though.
Mm-hmm.
Drink him. Fucking drink this asshole. Drink him.
We are not doing this here, Jeremy. We are not doing this here.
Really? We're not doing this here?
You want to take it outside, but I'd be happy to do that. You think Miss Ash wants bloodstains on a fucking carpet?
Yeah, fucking animal blood would probably ruin everything. You know, we really could have used you. They all died, Cadence. Except for me. I took the bastard down. When you failed us, they gave us the biggest whale to run after. I managed to take him out, and he holds up his hand, but everyone else died. That was your fucking job too, right? Keeping the rest of us alive?
Maybe it was. Never asked for it. Quite honestly, I don't care what some wizened old fucking Camarilla douchebag decided to throw you guys at. That wasn't my choice, that was his choice. Take it up with him. Or her, or whatever they are.
It's about this time that you notice how many people are watching you.
They want a show, she'll give them a show. She does not give a fuck.
We'll cut back to Madison and Willow.
Oh,
So yeah, it's like the old days, before the Convention of Prague. Madison, the subject du jour is the impending utter annihilation of the Anarch movement at the hands of the Second Inquisition. How their dalliance with promiscuous mortal technology is just going to lead them like rats behind a piper. And Baron Tran just says, only the stupid ones. Madison, you know about this, right?
You calling me stupid?
No,
and
I'm
he
not.
Pats him on the shoulder.
He's like, no. I'm saying you know how we use this shit, right?
Know my way around the Google.
There's like
Google's searching
maybe
for
half of them just
Wikipedia.
like that reference just goes right the fuck over their heads.
Yeah.
But they nonetheless are sneering. This is he's like, while you send your little fucking messages by parchment paper and wax seals, we get shit done on the nightly.
I don't know anything about technology, Scott,
Mm-hmm.
but Willow does.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'd like to do is make some sort of like jab in the ballpark of, I want to over explain something simple about tech
Mm-hmm.
using very complicated jargon and then acting like it's super easy, and then throw the ball in Dylan and Tran's court so they can be like, yeah.
Okay. Give me a charisma technology roll.
Oh yeah.
Techno
Can I
babble
aid
for the
her?
win.
Actively in
Yeah.
the conversation and also have technology.
Yeah, you can add a die to her.
Cool.
Are you activating any powers to assist you in
Let's
this?
see. Well, according to my lore sheet, I actually get 2+ dice in any roll involving Anarch debates.
Okay.
Will this help?
Absolutely.
That's a good lore sheet.
Thank you, Daddy.
Are you gonna call upon awe or anything along those lines?
Uh,
Have that.
It's free.
it sure is. Let me think. Would she?
Yep.
Very briefly, she would.
Okay, so you're gonna activate awe temporarily.
Very,
So
very
that adds
briefly.
your presence to the roll.
Yeah. It's not a lot. I'm not a charismatic Toreador, I'm afraid. Hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, shit, yeah. I got 5 successes. Oh, yes.
Anything interesting on the hunger die?
No, I didn't
Okay.
get any successes or anything. on my hunger
Fantastic.
die.
All right, yeah, you lay out a flawless, like you can't find any purchase to get in on this argument that you're making.
Yeah. Just the things that I'm throwing out, like maybe even like normal people just have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. But I want every Anarch to just like, oh shit, yeah.
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 Yeah, absolutely. Everyone gets what you're throwing down, and there's just sort of a collective scoffing, but they're unable to intelligibly respond. After this, the stuffed shirts find other things to do that are not entirely out of their ballpark, as this conversation is. Baron Tran offers to take your hand, Willow.
Oh, Baron. And I give it to him.
And he delicately kisses it and says, "You are an asset to this domain, and don't let anyone ever tell you any different."
Oh my god, I'm so flattered right now. Thanks.
It's alright. This is hell of a hubbaloo we got here.
What art did you guys bring?
I didn't bring anything. That was a Toreador thing.
Okay, I thought so. Fuckers.
That makes sense.
Do you guys want to see what Salvador brought me?
Absolutely, I do.
Well, come over.
Okay.
She's actually like very excited.
So, you guys make your way over to your seating area. And in the process, you see there's quite a crowd sort of circled around two hotly speaking figures. And it doesn't take too long to recognize that one of them is in fact Cadence. So, back in this, he says, "You know what? It really doesn't matter. Because wherever you go, whatever you bungle your way into, whatever little family you get tied up in, I know that the night's gonna come when you're just gonna fail again and get everyone around you killed. And who knows, maybe a scrappy little dog like you can run away and survive another night. But I just think it's inevitable."
You know what? I spent night after goddamn fucking night looking out for you folks. I busted my ass, because what else was the fuck was I gonna do? And I slipped up once. Didn't matter how good I did any other time, any other night of the week. All it took was one, and suddenly everything is fucking Cadence's fault. Can't get shit done? Yell at Cadence. Like, seriously, Christ.
Didn't appreciate you.
Well, maybe if you weren't such a fucking fuck up.
Can I activate a loudspeaker?
Absolutely you can.
I want to say I think that's enough.
So a voice as though from the heavens, an enchanting voice as though from the heavens comes over. And Jeremy looks up at where you are situated, and everyone can follow his gaze and see her sort of ensconced in this little area where she can see it all. And he just sort of bows and slips into the crowd.
Yeah.
Unless anyone wants to have a say.
She's... I actually... I'm gonna roll just like odds even, see if she tries to just deck him from behind, because
Oh, Cadence, I
stupid
love you.
face.
Willow and Madison, you see the signs of Cadence.
Is she about to fight him?
She is going to place a hand firmly on his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How much taller is he than her?
Maybe about a foot.
Okay,
Cadence
all
is pretty
right.
small.
She is pretty small. It was worth asking. She's going to turn around, and she's going to attempt to knee him in the junk.
Okay. So
Nice.
would either you can see this one, but Willow and Madison are closer. Would either of you attempt to intervene in this?
Yeah, I'm just gonna very pointedly like call out to Cadence with that tone that normally indicates it's something important.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at my celerity shit. One moment, guys.
I also have celerity if we have to physically intervene.
Yeah.
But
All
first,
right.
Well, would
Madison,
the tone stop her?
Hey, Cadence.
No,
Oh,
no, it would
okay.
not this time.
shit.
Willow, are you
Alright,
going to be
so
calling upon the powers of
think-
the blood?
I think fleetness might be
Absolutely.
acceptable.
Yeah.
For
Make the rouse check for it.
Of course. All right. I don't
Yeah.
get any hungrier.
Okay.
And I suppose it would be like a God, Dex. I essentially want to like. Let me think. How exactly do I want to stop Cadence from and then kneeing the guy in the balls?
Because the hand, that's acceptable.
I actually think I want to rush up and almost like slap her knee down. Because I mean, how tall is Cadence? She's like
5'2", if that.
okay. I'm taller than you. I'm going to come up to you very quickly and then put my foot on your knee as it's like it's raising up and just kind of like boop, it back down.
So yeah, she's able to get up on you and whatnot. Would this stop her?
That would stop her. If
Okay.
someone is intervening, she's not going to press the issue.
Okay.
But the intent was clear. She's going to say, "You want to talk more about this? We'll talk after. We'll go outside. I'm perfectly willing to throw down with you."
He just kind of brushes your hand out and looks over and says, "I think I've gotten everything I need."
What a tool.
Is this a boyfriend? What is this?
Oh, no, just one of the uppity motherfuckers who pushed me around before I saw sense and found you guys.
Hi, my name is Willow. We should talk. I smile at him like
He-
very
he
coldly
is- he
and then
is-
just walk away.
He is making his way through the crowd. He acknowledges you for a moment, but he's away from this scene.
Just let him go. He's clearly very upset.
He's
So-
fucking upset.
To run with
So
him?
yeah, Victoria, you see Jeremy heading off, probably making his way up to your direction, and these three in a close little knot. The crowd around them is mostly dispersed, but there's definitely some sly looks, some smiles. This was clearly a good show for everyone.
And
You go
she's
ahead.
gonna walk over to Madison and she's gonna be like, "Gonna go get your briefcase. I'll be right back."
Yeah, sure.
She runs up to the projector and
Mhm.
goes to retrieve it.
Okay. Yeah. So Victoria, you've seen this all play out, and it's certainly a show. And you definitely have taken care of some business in the meantime. Met with a few more people, and you have some time to yourself, some time to pursue personal agendas.
I want to feed.
Okay.
I'm looking. Are the kind walking around?
They are not in sight. They are in designated rooms. They have been sort of partitioned off by residents. So if you're in the mood for something exciting, something lulling, sanguine, absolutely. You can totally find that. It is the easiest thing in the world to get a vessel that has exactly what you want. The only question I have is how much of your hunger do you sate?
Only one.
Only one?
I only have 2 hunger. I
Yeah.
think. I'm going to be particularly seductive about this feeding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to grab her. You know how in like
Mm-hmm.
cheesy movies you'll see like someone grab someone under the chin,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Oh boy, absolutely.
Cheesy stuff, the cheesiest.
I love it.
In an attempt to get her particularly aroused.
Oh yeah, it happens.
Yes, that's the goal. So can I like roll?
You don't need to roll.
I don't need to roll.
You're an expert at this, and they are
Oh,
here.
hat.
They are here for this explicit purpose.
Of
And
course.
they've been given 6 different kinds of stories. They've been dominated in specific ways.
Of course.
It is absolutely 100% available. And everyone else here knows that there are kind available in all manner of varieties and all manner of situations to the party guests. But yeah, that takes some time, and you definitely find the beast quelled. Not entirely, but it is a satisfying evening, a satisfying time. Yeah, so Cadence, you grab the briefcase, and the beast is just fucking riling in you. It
Yeah,
is.
she's gonna. Am I? Yeah, she's probably going to rush back down, hand it to Madison, so she's not responsible for it anymore, and she's gonna go try to find something to eat.
Okay. You are
Yeah.
directed to a room. Is there a particular resonance that you are going to go for?
Oh,
or you
she
just...
wants someone who is terrified of her. If she can like catch someone like who's not looking, and just
So, like I said, the kind are in specific rooms.
okay.
And when you give the barest inclination of what you're looking for, you are led essentially to a room filled with noise and lights, and just loud noises banging. So there's like this clutch of people who are essentially chained in this room, and they are utterly terrified. And when you walk in the room, the terror just ramps up, and they are right there, and it is
Oh,
absolutely
God.
easy.
Yeah, she feels a twinge of guilt for this. She's like, okay, it's one thing if I'm running someone down, but this is excessive.
Mhm.
But
But
she
the beast doesn't
just
give a
wants
shit.
what it wants.
Mhm.
So she clamps down on some poor sap and takes two.
Okay. And they sort of slump down, but the beast, oh, that fear, oh God, that fear. It
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
it's kind of like a counter to your own frustration.
Yeah, no, it makes her feel powerful. It makes her feel in control. Like,
Hmm. Absolutely.
just,
So when everyone gets back, uh-oh.
decisions she has
Oh,
made
shit.
in her life.
Sorry, my internet glitched out there for a second. So yeah.
Oh.
So when everyone is done with Madison, Willow, are you tending to your beasts at all in any way? You know it's
I don't
available.
want. I'm good.
No, Willow has a weird. Willow is still a little bit traumatized over earlier this week's feeding, and so
Yeah.
she's not going to be feeding from anyone awake for a little while. She was reminded why she wants them to be asleep.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so when everyone gets back from their feeding and whatnot, the lights in the whole overall the museum change slightly. Madison, Willow, and Cadence, you recognize this is about the time that Vicky and Alex's performance is settled to go.
Mm-hmm.
And what follows is about 10 minutes of these projectors that have been set up and these sound equipment that have been set up literally covers almost every free space. Anything on which an image could be legibly projected has something projected on it. And it oscillates between moments of perfect harmony between image and sound and music, and moments of just pure disharmony and discord, like a field of daisies with just intense gabber techno music, followed up by an ambient over a calm ocean, and it is everything you might expect from Alex and his ability. Except there is a moment buried about midway through where the disharmony between image and sound it peaks into perverse, and everyone in the room just kind of rankles, and it casts sort of this pall over the rest of the performance. And when it ends, everyone's a little quiet. Everyone doesn't know exactly how to react to what they've just experienced. But it was a masterful performance. Willow and Victoria, you certainly have to be drawn away from what you've seen.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. I start clapping.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I'm so proud of you, Alex. I had no doubt that you could.
You don't see him anywhere. He was clearly in a booth somewhere.
Mhm.
But Vicky is absolutely making the rounds and just soaking up all the praise.
God, I love her. That was nice.
Mhm.
That was a little weird, though.
Well, I mean, you know, it's Alex's stuff. Of course, it's weird.
Guess.
Victoria, you of course you're older than them, and it actually takes a little bit longer to rouse you from it. You're actually pulled away from it by a brief tap on your shoulder, and you recognize it's Primogen Damas, your replacement. And he says, "Miss Ash, what can I say? You are an inspiration for so many things. Is there anything that I can do for you to make this evening more special?"
Well, there is one.
You habit to ask.
I would particularly like it if you could spend a night with me later this week.
I dared not wish it, but of course I am at your disposal.
Thank you very much. Now, I must ask, what do you know of? I point in the general directions of the three in the coterie: Cadence, Madison, and
Willow.
Oh, Willow,
Willow.
yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
You're good.
And I
Oh.
ask, what do you know of them?
You have eyes on interesting people. Of course, they're amongst the unbound, the rabble.
Of course.
But interesting. They're all recent arrivals. The prince has suspicion that they... how to put this? We've been able to tell that they have ties to some of the more well-placed and internationally influential members of the Unbound.
So, they're particularly high up.
Not them, but they're connected to people who are.
I see. Do you know of any particular ordeals through which they've undertaken? Anything not to put too fine a point on it, but supernatural in nature?
No, the most notable thing that they've done is that they and our sheriff have been at odds.
Oh.
Yes. There's been some
Oh.
fairly unsettling back and forth between them.
I see.
And if I have not so high opinion of myself, but I think they might have been beyond a recent, let's call it, uncovering of some of our sheriff's less reputable activities.
Oh, I see.
We've
all got those.
Indeed we do. But these, we were forced to censure him.
Oh.
Yes, he did some... We of the Camarilla, of course, pride ourselves on protecting all those who follow the rules and maintain their place.
But he was not following the rules, was he?
No, he was following the rules, but he was not... He was acting in a very abusive manner to a member of our sect that did not deserve such,
I see.
and was doing so for a very long time without the knowledge of that kindred's permission.
I see.
I'm not at liberty to discuss all the
Of course.
details, but
Skull.
I believe that they may have uncovered that little detail and gotten it into the hands of that primogen.
I see. I must bid you. I must beg.
Oh,
Excuse
don't let me take up your time.
I have. I need to have an audience with some particular kindred.
Absolutely, by all means.
I'm going to bow,
Mhm.
of course, and offer him my hand.
Oh, he takes it and kisses
And
it.
then I leave and go to the balcony.
Okay.
And I'm going to activate summon
Okay.
3 times.
Oh boy, Jesus. Okay, let's make some rolls, I suppose.
I'm just gonna relent because I want this to happen anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Would anyone wish to resist this urge to come back up to the balcony?
Yes.
Okay.
I can try.
Then we're gonna have to make that roll then.
Okay.
Not
Not
your Cadence.
No, it's not. But
My brain fortitude would technically protect me, but I don't not want
Don't
to do
want
it.
it.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So what's the roll for that?
I am looking that up right now.
I also have unswayable mind.
Oh, that's good.
She is one.
It is composure.
Alright.
It is composure plus intelligence for you,
All right.
and I will make the roll for you.
Not
rolled two
necessary.
anyway.
That's a big fat goose egg.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So yeah. Well, I'll roll to see if anything interesting happens.
Oh no. Can we go for a third messy critical?
I mean, that would be delightful. Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah. You. The three of you feel pulled up. You know exactly where you are intended to go.
And I just followed the feeling.
Okay.
Mhm.
And once again, this large, obscenely large balcony with only one person in it.
Mhm.
I have I assume that I've got some control over the music that's being
Oh,
played.
absolutely. You can request
I'm gonna
anything you want.
change it to the poppiest bullshit you can think of.
Oh,
God.
fantastic.
Just absolute poppy bullshit.
As you are going up, actually, you are Madison. Someone sort of gets in your field of vision for but a moment, and says, "Clearly, you're engaged, but later, a word."
Yes, certainly. He says without stopping.
And Willow, you actually you when you see and recognize this, that was Damas. That was the Toreador primogen that talked to him.
Oh.
I also just keep going, and I'm just like, oh.
Okay. So yeah,
Mhm.
you guys make it up to the balcony. Poppy, bubblegum, upbeat music playing up here. And once again, only one person here.
So I do believe we were going to discuss Methuselah cults. A fascinating
Yes.
subject.
Yes, we were.
I, for one, am not particularly fond of Methuselah cults, but I am quite religious, so I do understand the need for faith.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to be here for this?
Maybe a little.
Well-
Who knows?
I need something beautiful to look at.
Please.
She's got you there, Cadence.
The suit is good.
The suit looks good on you, love.
Sure, whatever.
Is this not your preferred attire?
None of this is preferred.
I can see from your previous interaction with Jeremy that you were not particularly fond of how civil this all is.
Fuck that guy. And fuck everything he had to say.
Of course. She raises her glass and says, now on the subject of Methuselah cults. And I do want to ask, do you know anything of the Sabbat in the area? We'd like to stamp them out. as you can imagine.
Oh, you mean south of? What is the name of the highway, Scott?
I-20.
South of I-20, just in that direction, just the whole thing.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
They have quite extensive holdings.
Very active.
And you've got, just quick note, Cadence, you brought the briefcase back to Madison, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, noted.
And it's like, yeah, we're keeping them south of there.
It's one of our duties as.
It's hard to hold the Sword of Cain back, I imagine.
Yeah.
We're good at our jobs.
I do have a
Seems
question
like
for you, Miss Ash.
Yes, Willow.
You say you don't like Methuselah cults. What are the links that you would go to in order to stamp them out?
Out of character?
Mhm.
What are the links to which I would go?
I mean, you would... It's a sticky situation because a lot of old, influential kindred are members of these things in the cam.
Right.
So, if you could find one that was egregious and stamp it out, you would expend a great deal of resources because that would be something that you could offer up to the Ashira on a silver platter and smooth over a lot of difficulties in the alliance. But going on a warpath, that's not advisable.
It depends on how serious the cult is. How, dare I say, inhumane the cult is. Why? I'd go to some pretty serious lengths.
So you'd expend resources to help root them out.
Well, I've got resources to expend.
Good. We've been investigating one. I'm afraid we don't have the resources
I
to
kind of picked
investigate
up on that.
as deeply as we would like. But if we have a similar interest,
I think we do.
we could scratch each other's backs.
I like the way you think. So tell me, what is the name of this cult?
We don't have that one yet, but we have a ridiculous amount of imagery, I guess.
Imagery?
A black heart, Madison?
Like a deer,
Lilith?
not like a hot.
Like Joan Jett and the Blackhearts?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Minus the
Weird
E.
cult.
A stag. Does that mean anything to you?
Does it?
I will make a roll for you.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look through my notes because I
no
couldn't
worries.
memorize them all.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. I will roll and let you know.
Am I rolling too good?
Yeah, no, it's not that you're rolling too good. I'm just trying to adjudicate what this roll means.
Gotcha.
Because this is a pretty deep one.
Good question. Yeah.
You've heard of that imagery before.
Mhm.
And it was associated with. It's basically one of the cults that the cam wouldn't mind if it would be wiped away, but it's sticky. It's pernicious. It's very hard to get any details on it, but some things that they're not telling you, for reasons that they're not telling you, that would be one that could be wiped away if it were to be rooted out without much problems from the inner circle or above, or the Justicari or the inner circle. But the details are scant. Like you don't have any hard information on it.
I look directly in Willow's eyes and I say, it is imperative that if you have any information on this subject, you tell me. This is a particularly egregious example of a Methuselah cult and we don't know much about it, and we'd like to know more.
Same.
Is there anything that you're not telling me that I could know?
When you say we, I have a notion of what that might mean, but I would like to not run an assumption.
We?
We.
Who's we?
You're we. You say we do not know much. We.
Understood. We is in the Camarilla, of course. The Ivory Tower.
I see.
It seems to me that we have a common interest, and I would hate for us to miss this opportunity to help each other scratch each other's backs.
Agree.
Just as a side note, Cadence is not paying attention to this conversation. She's looking out the balcony, trying to spot that asshole Jeremy in the crowd and know where he is if she needs to find him
Give
later.
me a wits awareness, Cadence.
Okay. Awareness. Three.
You don't see him out in the crowd or on the street or anything, because this balcony looks over the street,
Okay.
by the way. But you do catch something.
Mm-hmm.
Something in one of the windows across the street in the high. Just a shadow moves. But you can't
And that's
pinpoint
where
it.
the old Elysium was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's gonna wait for the conversation to reach a reasonable stopping point, and then she'll say something. But go on with the conversation.
Like when you look, like you don't see it anymore. Like it was
Okay.
literally just a flicker of movement.
All right.
Ash, do you intend to stay with us here in the beautiful city of Atlanta, or is this a visit?
This is a visit. I'll be here a little longer.
I see.
I can't disclose how much longer for my own safety, of course, but
Wouldn't ask.
it is just a visit.
Guys,
What?
people aren't supposed to be in the old Elysium, right?
Absolutely not.
Definitely
Never.
not.
I sort of look over. Did you see them?
Saw something. I don't know if it was a person, but something moved over there.
Does anyone have it's the not heightened senses, sense the unseen aspects power?
Damn it.
I actually don't
Alex's
have that.
thing.
Okay. When Cadence points out, none of you see what she's talking about.
Are you seeing someone in the Elysium? The old Elysium?
I saw something move. That's all I'm saying.
Pupils of Madison's eyes get freakishly large as he uses his auspex.
You don't see anything.
I'm not seeing what you see.
Interesting.
Maybe it was just wind. I don't know.
If we work together,
Yes?
would it be possible to leave Sect out of this? Could this be a favor between two roses?
I think it could be.
I would
That's-
like to propose two conditions.
That's a yes.
Good.
Sorry, well, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're fine.
Apologies.
Say what you want.
All right. I would like to propose two conditions. First of all, if we are to cooperate with you on this matter, I would like our sharing of information to be bilaterally unrestricted. We will give you the information that we have on this cult, and you will provide us with copies or other such delineations of the information you have access to on the cult. Is that condition acceptable to you, Lady Ash?
Out of character, is that something I can promise them?
Not entirely, but you believe that you can give them enough to satisfy them.
Agreed.
Very well. The second condition is a bit more arcane, and I hope you'll forgive me for what will likely seem like theatrics. But there's something that I need to present to you, and I must have your word. You will trust me in entirety when I present it to you regarding what I know of it.
Christ.
We're gonna do that right now. Okay.
Oh. All right.
I accept your conditions.
Well, as I know you are an honorable kindred, he opens the briefcase.
Okay.
Cadence braces for impact.
In the briefcase, there is a small wooden box. Has a wax seal over the opening. Are you giving her the note too, or just the?
Hell no.
Okay, so it is. That is what you see in the briefcase.
Fucking loosely, I am not giving her the note.
No.
Oh,
So, yeah.
God. Fuck.
That's understandable.
So, yeah, you
Would
see
you like me to
Opens it and sees if she has an immediate reaction.
no immediate reaction. You don't recognize it's a box.
Would you like
I
me to hold your
take
glass
the
while you
box.
open it?
Yes, I would love for you to hold my glass. I hand the glass to her.
Thank
Won't
you.
say anything as she takes the box.
I take the box and I preserve the wax seal as best I can.
You have to. It's too expertly applied. There's no way to not.
I was just thinking it looked nice, so I'd
Yeah.
probably take it. But whatever. I open it.
So you open it, and inside is a finger. On the finger is a ring.
Oh no. Oh fuck. Oh shit.
A ring you wore that night. And you cannot help but remember that boxcar where they held you. Where they did things to you, where they shaped your flesh in terrible ways. Where, in fact, a finger bearing this ring was plucked in a moment of capriciousness. And it's lying on its side. And you can tell with your superlative senses, you see the whirl of the fingerprint has been altered, and it is that terrible Ouroboros. That worm eating its own tail. The blemish on your collarbone that despite all your efforts and the gallons of blood, you could never heal, where it touched you.
I point at the door. Get out. Get out.
Scott,
Mhm.
in the
Get out.
chat, while this is occurring, can I make a roll to do what I needed to do?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Give me a Dex larceny roll, please.
Very good roll.
Do I need to? Well, you'll contest that for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave immediately and just let him
Okay.
know everything.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'll,
I could probably use rapid reflexes
said-
because as
Yeah.
long as it's not a combat skill,
Sure.
it's-
Then if
it's good to
you
go.
if you use that, you can. Does that take a
Yeah.
rouse check?
no,
No,
not
I don't.
rapid
No, I don't.
reflexes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm definitely going to be making a roll for you, Victoria. But please do make that roll for me, please. Just
She might be penalized by the utter shock of what she
Yeah,
just
yeah.
fucking witnessed.
Yeah, you're laser focused on it. You don't see if she doesn't. So are all three of you exiting?
Yeah.
Yes,
Madison
gladly.
uncharacteristically does actually bow to her quite deeply, and turns to leave.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wave into a ghoul. I wave a ghoul in.
So this is when all of them have left.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I
Yeah,
want. I don't care how you do it. I want security tripled.
Of course, ma'am.
And she's going to. I think, despite being an elder, she's hyperventilating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she is not having a good time.
I'm making a roll for you real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a really bad time.
Oh,
No.
Yeah, you lose it for a bit.
that's so bad.
Frenzy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're alone, and I'll get back to you and let you know what the results of that are. So, yeah, the three of you are away as quickly as possible.
I'm telling you, you should have left it in a bathroom with a sticky note.
Yeah, honestly, you're absolutely. I think Cadence might be right. Maybe it was too early for that, but it's okay, right? Right?
I
Right?
felt like it was our best shot because now she's gonna want to talk to us again at some point to, collect on the other half of the matter.
She's gonna want to know where we got that.
Yeah, we're gonna have a fucking good excuse, so maybe start brainstorming on that one.
Yeah, and she's not gonna believe our C car to our front door.
She
I
might.
mean, that's what I'm gonna tell her because it's fucking true.
Do you want the car? It's back
You
at the
have a
Haven. It's back at the Haven.
Oh my god.
Pull out my phone.
Okay.
I'm gonna text one of the what is it? They're called Duskborn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna text one of my Duskborn buddies, and she'll be like, "Hey man, I'll Venmo you $20 if you pick up this RC car from my house and bring it to this location."
He says, "What location do you tell him to bring it to?"
Yeah, because
somewhere
this place is quarantined.
Yeah, somewhere towards the external edge of somewhere where Cadence could pop out and get it, basically.
Okay. That's doable. He's like, make it 100. I don't want to go anywhere near there.
Okay, that's fair, dude.
All right, it's done. So yeah, so do you convey that to Kate? Yeah. Okay, so Cadence, are you gonna make that trip?
Fucking fine, I'll grab your shit.
Okay.
I mean, I can go with you, but you're security, so I figured they wouldn't.
Yeah, no,
Be weird
it's
about it.
sorry.
Yeah, you by yourself, you can fudge those things. I mean, you can definitely tell, like interacting with the various other security people, which are mostly ghouls. Security is getting ramped the fuck up.
I'll go wait for him.
All right, so you're heading out. You're heading away from the museum. For noted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hey, Madison?
hmm?
Hey, Madison?
Yeah, what's up?
In the box,
Yeah.
you think that was hers?
I mean, hard to tell from a finger. It could be a fake. It could be somebody she knows. It could be actually hers. I mean, it could be 1,000 different fucking things. That's why I didn't want to try anything fancy. I wanted to deliver it face to face because, I mean, frankly, that note is fucking as meaningless as anything else, right? Someone wanted us to do that. The name on the note is in no way confirmable, right? I could write a note that said Hancock's fucking name on it and go drop it on somebody's fucking doorstep, right?
I suppose.
There's too many variables. The best thing to do is get it out of our court and into hers. If you trust her enough to share the information about the cult, I feel like we have to trust her enough to be forthright about this fucking situation.
Roses are very temperamental. You clearly hurt her with it, or with that box.
Yes, but I'm hoping that
there is a chance that now what we had spoken about is void. I don't know.
it's hard to say.
So, I'm assuming you guys are in like a private little corner.
Yeah.
If you ever look up pictures of the Moda, there is a hallway that's just filled almost to the middle with these orange spiky finger things. I'm just gonna say that y'all found your way into that hallway, and it's a nice little private area, and it's weird as fuck. But as you're having this conversation, Willow, your eyes catch and you see Primogenta Moss sort of at the end of the hallway, having a conversation with somebody, but he looks up to you.
Hey, Madison, turn around. Look. He wanted to talk to you, right?
Yeah.
That's the Toreador Primogen.
Well,
I should thank him for the invitation.
raises
He's the one
his
who gave
arm
it
up.
to me. And I put my arm in yours, and we can walk over.
Yep.
He acknowledges the two of you. He finishes his conversation. He holds his hand out to Willow. He takes it. It's a Toreador thing. It happens. And then he turns to Madison. Hello. This is the The famous Mr. Faircloth, is it not? And he extends his hand.
He will unwrap his arm from Willow's and then take and shake with the precise proper amount of firmness.
Okay. When he shakes your hand, his hand moves in a very odd way around yours. He's grasping it in a clearly practiced maneuver. And when he does, Madison, you feel something deep inside your mind sort of click, and you feel an old submerged directive coming online. Something from your sire. Now you don't have to obey it. You feel it, but you are. It's so old and it's so outdated, and he's so dead. But
He's so dead.
you know that
dead.
that when you receive this handshake, you are supposed to do two things: work the word faun, as in Faun, into the next thing you say to this person, and inform your sire immediately. And that's the information that bubbles up through your head.
All right. He. Sorry, I need a second to
No,
think
absolutely.
about it.
Madison can do this quickly.
with
Very
Madison.
loaded.
Mhm.
Holy shit.
He retracts his hand, wraps his arm back with Willow's, assuming she allows it.
She does.
And he says simply, adding an opportunity to speak with you face to face, Primogen, is an unexpected pleasure above and beyond my time with the fawn of the ball here.
He closes his eyes for just a brief moment, and he comes in close. He actually moves to embrace you.
I sort of like slither away as it starts to occur. I'm just like, oh.
I'll give him a hug.
It's a very brief hug, but when his mouth is by your ear, he whispers. He says, "There is much to discuss. You must come when called." And he breaks away.
Madison smiles, and he does the smile that bounces your head a little bit, that also evokes the sense of a nod.
Okay.
Then he glances at Willow as if he expects a hug between the two of them next.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
He actually, he sort of moves away like it never happened and says, "I have business elsewhere. We'll speak later."
It was pleasant, Primogen. Have a great night.
Victoria, the red fades, and every decoration on this balcony has been shattered, ruined, a couple of them tossed over the edge. And it is just chaos.
I call in an attendant.
They come
Clean this fucking mess up.
immediately.
Clean this fucking mess up.
God.
What time is it? Do I have a watch?
You do. You have methods of keeping time.
Right.
It is. The gala is set to end at 3. It is currently 1:45.
Okay, dawn is.
Couple hours after that.
I go seek out. I'm gonna activate summon again.
Okay, who are you summoning?
I think you know exactly who I'm summoning. I'm just summoning Madison.
Okay.
I am going to go to a not ruined area that I can use for private.
There's all sorts of private nooks and crannies that you can.
Right.
You can.
I'm gonna find a private nook and summon him.
Okay.
Do I get
Madison.
hungrier? Do I get hungrier?
Let me roll to see. Well, that's just a straight up roll. You do.
Okay.
So yeah, Medicine, you feel that tug for the second time.
1 second, Willow. He just pulls his arm and turns to head somewhere with seeming decisiveness.
Right. Oh. As he starts to walk away, she's just like, "Oh, why is he leaving?" And then like it clicks that he's probably being summoned, and she's like, "Oh."
So yeah, so Madison, you head off. Cadence, it took maybe about 20 minutes to get where you were supposed to go and come back, and you have the thing.
Alright.
It takes probably another 10 minutes to get through the increased security checks. But you're able to restate who you are about 5 times, and eventually people pass you through.
God damn, guys, you saw me fucking leave. She's gonna try to spot Madison and make a beeline for him so she can get in this stupid car and go back to trying to...
You don't find Madison, but you do find Willow.
Shoves the car at Willow and walks away.
I don't want this car.
Well, too bad, it's yours now. I got shit to do.
I don't want it.
All right, so
it's like peeking out of your purse, like the front wheel.
So
what a look.
The area that you are summoned to, Madison, is actually an interior greenhouse garden that has a stone water feature, numerous plants. All of them have been replaced with roses.
Of course.
Indeed.
Of course.
This is the roses that you had imported, Victoria, for the last part of the evening, and it is sort of it's been kept private for your purposes.
Of course.
There are a couple of stone benches. Like I say, there is a fountain. Where in this tableau are you, Victoria, when he comes in?
I'm reclining. Imagine like someone on a fainting couch.
There's absolutely a stone fainting couch. So yeah, Madison, you enter this place. You are waved in by security, who I'm assuming you told to expect him.
Yes.
Okay. And you find Miss Ash in repose.
I'm gonna do the whitest thing possible. I just do a knock knock after having already entered the room on like a pillar or something.
Hell yeah. Oh gosh.
And he does not approach at all until she acknowledges that he's there.
I only barely,
And then he will walk up.
Just barely, though.
Yeah, he will walk to within comfortable, quiet, polite speaking distance.
Not many people have seen me in a less composed state. So, you're going to tell me exactly where you got this. And I hold up. I don't even have the box anymore. I have the finger in my hand.
He like flinches when he sees the finger again, just despite himself. And
you're going to tell me where you got this, because I know you didn't know that this was in the box. Who gave this to you?
Certainly did not know. Well.
And what the hell made you think that it was a good idea to give it to me on such an important night?
Have you ever had a remote control car ram itself into your front door unexpectedly?
I live in apartments, no.
Right.
Can I possibly try to give the fucking remote car to one of the guards to have them give it to Madison?
You can hand a remote control guard. You can hand a remote control guard to a very confused guard.
Listen, I know I'm not allowed in there. I'm sure they're talking about important shit, but can you please take this car? Can you please give this to Madison? Yeah. Okay.
I'll do my best, ma'am.
All right, thanks.
So.
And then I'm gonna skulk around.
Right?
Very late last evening, maybe a half an hour or so at most before we all lay down to rest.
Mm-hmm.
A remote control car, not a particularly notable one, bumped into the front door of our haven several times.
Knock, knock, knock.
What is it?
Mem, we have a car that's supposed to come to
Madison
Madison.
Okay. What is it with Anarch Ventrue and their stupidity? I do not understand. You left the safety of the ivory tower where the Ventrue fitted. Go get the car. Go get the car.
Yeah, the guard just sort of very, very confusedly hands you this RC car.
Take the car, pat him on the shoulder, and nod to him. And I turn back around. So yes, this car, and I'm assuming it's just like a shitty Circuit City $30 RC car. Like,
actually, it's
Circuit
pretty high
City.
scale. Like the end, like you see the Bluetooth symbol on it,
oh,
which makes you realize how they were controlling the car.
right. This car bumped into the door of our haven. Taped to that were a cell phone and a note and that box.
And the note told you.
The note told us to. So, connected to this remote control car was a note that said, and I recite word for word the contents of the note, which
Okay.
Dylan doesn't
Oh
remember.
my god!
He is so dead.
Do we need a refresh on that?
I mean, this is
Actually,
how I
would
live my
like a
life, dog.
refresher here.
Okay.
I would like a
So
refresher.
what it says is, my paladin recommended that I offer this task to you. See to it that this box that this is returned to Miss Ash, sealed, and I will owe your coterie a minor boon. Signed, Lycos.
On one hand, I'm conflicted because remind me, Vikos does definitely ring a bell.
Oh yeah, no, you are terribly intimately associated with Lycos. He did.
But
It
remind
did.
me,
Mhm.
remind me exactly what the
So-
deal between us is, because I'm
so-
trying to-
Well, going back into good old the clan novels.
right.
After the attack, you were captured by the Sabbat
Yes.
and tortured for quite some time.
Mhm.
Mostly by Zamisi, who
Mhm.
used flesh crafting of all terrible sort, and maybe 1 hour of many evenings, Vikos, who you understand to be one of the masterminds of the entire campaign, plied its work on you, leaving the mark on your collarbone that you have never been able to heal. Of all the other deformations, you are able to heal, but that one, it just remains.
I do remember that. Okay. So, are you activate dominate again?
Okay.
I-
Now, well, real quick, I need to note something.
Yeah.
The new version of Dominate you cannot get information out of people with it.
Got it.
You
In that
can't.
case, I'm going to. I'm just going to ask straight to point
Okay.
blank. Do you know who Vikos is?
I do not know who they are. I have heard the name in study and in rumbling. I know that it is someone powerful.
But you do know what clan they hail from.
I could venture a guess based on what I know.
Knowing that, you decided on one of the most important nights of my life to give me this box. Return something to me. Why should I honor our previous agreement? I need a reason. I need a really good reason.
My reasoning was that from our perspective, there were far too many things unknown, including the veracity of that note. I hope you will not think me foolish for doubting that an individual of such power and prowess would have authored the note that was attached to the Circuit City toy that bumped up against the door of our haven that evening. Whatever was inside that box, I judged, would mean more to you than it meant to me in terms of information. I had no idea that it would hurt you in this way, and for that, I am deeply and terribly sorry.
Grovel. Come on. Hell yeah.
Without reservation, whatever you would like from me to make up for that pain that I have caused you for failing to anticipate this, I offer it to you freely.
You're going to work with the Camarilla. No hesitation. You're going to work with the Camarilla to seek out Vikos and absolutely destroy Vikos, assuming that Vikos is still alive. You are going to absolutely do your best to wipe the Sabbat from the face of Atlanta. Gone. That is your life's work from this point on. Otherwise, I do have particularly powerful resources that I could expend to squash you like a bug.
I'm certain.
And I'm not particularly fond of these vague threats, but I am frustrated. I've had a rough night, and I demand your cooperation in this endeavor. That is all.
Even if I were not bound by what I just said, I would have been happy to cooperate with you in exterminating any such monstrosity.
Excellent. Now, I want any information that you or Willow or Cadence have on the subject of the Methuselah cults in the area as well, as we agreed.
Absolutely.
You are incredibly lucky that I have not killed you right here.
I judged you to be
the type of person who honors an Elysium.
And also the type of person who has honor in general. I truly
that
believe
is very kind of you.
Would not have slain me for such a thing, even if we were not on Elysium. You do not seem like that sort of woman to me.
You're right. I'm not.
Would you mind if I were to call my coterie mates in to speak with you?
I would not mind at all.
Excellent. And then he'll go to the door, find the guard that brought the car.
Willow is still waiting there, just like,
hey, man.
Yeah, so, Willow, while you've been out here, actually a number of attendants have sort of begun to congregate on the outside of this room. They don't look you in the eye. They don't respond to you. But when you open the door, Madison, Victoria, you see them. You see them all waiting, and you realize that it's time for them to start bringing the roses down for the ending ceremony.
Well, it certainly wouldn't do for you to be late.
No. Is it about that time?
Yes, ma'am. They reference a little laminated schedule. It's underlined many times that we are not to delay this.
Yes, of course. You continue with that. I want to have a brief conversation elsewhere. I'm going to go to the balcony.
Very well. We will get things started. I will note that 20 minutes before it's supposed to start.
Thank you. And send someone for me when
absolutely, ma'am.
We can finish this in 15, Lady Ash. I assure you that.
So we're going to fast forward just a little bit up to the balcony. Everyone is gathered for you to have this little conversation.
So
I'm going to step to the front of the line. He looks left, he looks right. I believe that the primogen of your clan is a member of the cult.
Excuse me? Demas?
Yes.
There's no way. Of course not.
I would have believed that as well. However, he turns to Willow and kind of like holds his hand out for a handshake.
I sort of reach forward, like, okay.
When he greeted me earlier, and then Madison basically kind of duplicates the motion.
It's easier to do than you would think.
Drawing from the
Mm-hmm.
weird expired dominate
Mm-hmm.
command. He does the move of his hand. He greeted me as such, which I recognized. Something that my sire had taught me some time ago that I had not remembered, had no cause to remember. That was a sign to which one should respond with a sentence invoking the word fawn. And when I did so, to see his reaction, he embraced me closely, told me there was much to discuss and that I must come when called.
That's what that was about. That was fucking strange.
It was very strange.
Do I recognize this handshake?
No, it's not a detail that you know, but it's clearly something weird.
That does
Perhaps
sound
it's
cultish,
technically
but that's
fawn.
not necessarily.
Fawn, like a baby deer.
Yes.
Are you fucking
I don't-
kidding me?
So your sire was involved in the Methuselah cult.
Involved or aware of, I can't know which. All I remember is that that was the proper response, and that if I were ever to receive it, I should inform her immediately. But, well,
Interesting.
it's not
Make a real
conclusive.
roll real quick for you, Victoria.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Your mind absolutely connects heretical bloodline, Methuselah cult. It lines up. The details that you know regarding both subjects just sort of come into alignment in your mind, and you're fairly confident that these two things are one and the same.
I don't believe it's sufficient evidence to merit any sort of action, but I would certainly be careful going anywhere alone with that gentleman.
Thank you for letting me know. I must ask. You are blood hunted in several cities for
Wait,
your bloodline.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Several?
Did I say something that caught you off guard?
That is an advancement of the situation of which I was not aware. Please continue.
I shouldn't have let that slip out of character.
If you'd like to roll, I'll roll an etiquette roll if you want to not have said that.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, you crit. That yeah, you that never happened.
I feel bad now because
Don't worry about it. It's fine. We're LARPers. We get that.
I'm so used to it.
Okay, fair enough. So you are a member of a heretical bloodline. You are particularly your sire is almost certainly involved in or has information regarding a blood cult, a Methuselah cult. How do I know that you're not feeding me bad information?
Strictly speaking, I don't believe you know that.
Wait. What don't I know?
There's no way for me to prove that this information is ironclad, as is often the case in such intrigues. But I've endeavored to offer you everything I know on these topics.
Rose to Rose.
Yeah.
I ask, is his information, can I trust him? He did offer me a box with a particularly familiar finger in it. I have to wonder if I can trust any of you, actually.
In regards to Madison, yes. I think you can. I trust Madison. I don't trust a lot of people. If
Okay.
he thinks that he had subliminal commands input into him,
As the Ventrue are known to do.
I believe it. I watched it happen with Moss. It happened right in front of me. It was bizarre.
Okay. Now, is there any more information on the cults that you can offer me? Any more information?
Willow, that's all you from there.
It's all me from here.
That you've done most of the boots on the ground investigation work.
I mean, in regards to it, aside from Moss, there are some speculations that other people high up in the city are in on it. I've heard but can't confirm in any real meaningful way that the prince might be involved in it.
The prince?
And I am investigating on behalf of someone.
On behalf of whom? Are you at liberty to say?
No. I'm afraid not. But I do want to root it out.
So you think the prince and Demas are involved? Are any of the other Primogen involved?
As an Anarch, I don't talk to other Primogen enough to figure something like that out.
If I had to wager a guess, the only one that I have any read on would be Netchurch. I don't think that Netchurch is... Dr. Netchurch does not seem an overly religious sort based on my extensive philosophical exchanges.
We should probably also talk about the recent death of that Toreador, the old one, Madison. The house.
An attendant is at the edge of your periphery and is sort of frantically waving at you.
We will have to discuss this later.
They're killing old potent vampires. Be careful.
Older than you, I think.
She's
killing.
It's time.
Elders?
Yes.
Okay. I
downstairs now.
Steel myself. I put on the most confident face I can, and I walk over to the attendant and have him and put my arm in the crook of his and have him escort me.
So, what follows is a fairly elaborate and very regimented ceremony. The damask roses imported from Syria have been brought onto the front lawn. And those in the know and those who are quietly informed of what they're supposed to do begin to filter through each kindred plucking a rose and beginning very slowly to make their way across the street. At first, there are just a few pinprick whiffs of people struck by the thorns, and blood, the smell of it, suffuses. And as it hits noses, everyone cannot resist adding to the aroma. And the crowd is awash in faint but potent smell of mingling odors of vitae. And as is requested by the hostess, one by one, slowly, people make their way across the street up to the steps that lead to the entrance of the High. And they lay their bloody roses at the very threshold of the violated Elysium. Of course, Victoria is going last. Do you permit these three to walk with you, or are they to be amongst the crowd?
I permit them to walk with me.
Okay.
I've had quite the night with them. I may as well let them accompany me.
Indeed you have.
Cadence is going to decline. She if there's any way she can get out of participating in this, she's going to get. Yeah, she doesn't want to be a
Actually,
part of it.
I've been thinking, whatever you saw earlier was over here, and we're all going over here, and that makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Want me to go in first?
Either in or
Stay
around.
nearby.
Well, I can't go in without permission.
You can't go
It
in,
is
period.
We're
not
not
to be
going
done.
in.
No, never. Not
Well,
even
if
an elder.
If there's something in there that doesn't respect those policies, then you're up shit creek without a paddle.
Hmm.
You
Listen,
just saw a flicker and nothing else.
Fine.
Cadence, we trust you. I trust you completely. Do what you think is right, but make sure that whatever, if there is anything, I don't know. I just got a weird feeling, you know?
Okay.
Whatever. I'll keep watch. I ain't doing this though.
Yeah, you
No, that's fine.
detach yourself. Do you stay close?
She's gonna hang out like across the street. She's gonna keep an eye on the windows. She's going to she wants to get a good vantage point, just so she can, see what's up.
Okay. So
I'm also more paying attention to the area using Auspex than I am. Like,
Okay.
obviously, I'm super distracted by the overwhelming intensity and gravitas of the situation.
Mhm.
But I'm not a Toreador, so I can at least do other stuff too.
right. So on high alert, high vigilance, everyone, with the exception of Cadence, goes through this ceremony. There's this mound of roses, upwards of 100, all laid at the threshold. Cadence, Willow, you lay yours.
Mhm.
Madison, you lay yours. Until finally, there is but one rose left. And everyone kind of takes a big step back to watch Victoria Ash truly reclaim the night. And when the rose drops, all eyes on you, you feel that hand at your back. And it moves up to your throat and clamps down, and you lose control of your body, Victoria. And you see her raise her hands up, and everyone, Willow, Madison included, is overcome by pure religious ecstasy. Everyone falls prostrate, writhing before this avatar of beauty.
Does Cadence?
I'll get to you, Cadence.
Oh.
Because she didn't.
card,
She didn't put it down. I love you.
Victoria, your body is not your own. Another voice is coming out of your mouth. And it's speaking, you can tell, mostly to you. And it says, "Such a beautiful pageant you've made. But wouldn't I? How could I not add a master stroke of my own?" And you feel as though you can respond. Your voice is the only thing you have when it's not speaking.
Does that mean anything to me?
You're not certain. I mean, you have your suspicions about what has been bolstering you, but you've never had the courage to give it a name.
What are you?
He says, you do not know?
I've had suspicions.
And those of you on the ground can hear snippets of this, but you are just overcome.
Yeah.
Cadence,
Yes.
you see this happen.
Okay.
It doesn't affect you. You're not sure if it is because you're not close enough or something else. But it's stunning, to say the least. And you it's very hard to take your eyes off of Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
But you begin to see something.
Mm-hmm.
You see chains.
Mm-hmm.
Rose chains. Just over all of them. Coming from her. You see them over Madison, over Willow, wrapping around them. You see them wrapping around Victoria. And your claws come out unbidden.
What the actual fuck? Ah, okay.
And
she's gonna.
You don't hear a voice, but you just feel another presence, just abhorrent at the concept of slavery, at this binding, and you know that there is power in your claws.
She doesn't need to feel that. As soon as she sees that chain imagery, she's like, this ain't cool, this ain't right, this was not part of the plan. She's going to lunge, beeline across the street, try to jump at Victoria.
Mm-hmm.
And she does not want to pierce her with the claws.
Okay.
She wants to knock her down, and she wants to get those claws in her face. Like, I do not know what the fuck you are doing, but you are stopping it right the fuck now.
So,
try to break the chains.
Yeah, you are trying to make your way through, and when you get to the steps, a dozen kindred stand up and stand in your way.
Oh, what the actual fuck?
And they're not actively like fighting you. You can probably push your way through them.
Full force, like she's a woman on a mission.
Noted.
She's not letting anything get in her way. If she has to, push people out, if she has to snarl at,
Noted.
like anything,
Noted.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, get in there, girl.
While Cadence is making her way through the cloud, and more kindred stand up between, but they can't fight her off. The voice comes out of Victoria's mouth again. And it says, I can think of no more beautiful thing on your night of triumph to share your beauty with all of these supplicants. They must taste every drop of you.
Oh no.
And the closest kindred stand up and start to shamble towards you, fangs out.
Is this something that is heard just by Victoria or by the entire group?
You hear an unearthly voice coming out of her mouth. And you see, like, you now get up to Cadence and Madison. I'm sorry, Willow and Madison. And they are standing up.
She doesn't have time to try to knock him out of it. She's going to still make the beeline for Victoria, and when she hears that, she's like, okay, now I've got to get her away from this, and maybe if we get away from this area, away from this huge pool of vitae flowers, which is not, fucking suspicious to say the least, then maybe something will, maybe that'll break the hold.
Okay. So yeah, these kindred are shambling towards you slowly. And she says, and the voice comes out again, can you think of a more beautiful end?
Oh, I do not know what the fuck is in you, but it needs to shut up.
Start swiping, girl.
Girl.
She's
like,
holy shit.
And
oh my god.
You haven't gotten up to her yet. And once again, Victoria, you can speak. You can respond.
I can speak?
Yeah, you can respond to this. Your voice is your own when it's not talking through you.
I don't know what's happening. I think Victoria's freaking out.
Uh-huh.
Do I have any control over my body other than that?
No, you only have your voice.
Can I even retract my fangs?
Mm-mm.
don't know what's happening.
Yeah, so sort of at a pace with this crowd, Cadence, you finally sort of break through.
Okay.
And you are in front of this arms outraised, beckoning figure, and you see like two sets of imagery. You see the real world, and you see these chains spectrally coming, wrapping around Victoria and extending out into the crowd.
Can she swipe at those with her claws?
Give me a dex brawl.
Oh, yeah.
Finally get to use these things to their full potential.
Oh, yes.
Dex brawl. That is a sexy dice pool. Love it. I think that it is time, appropriately so, for a messy critical.
Oh boy.
Oh. Love
Oh,
that.
wash
So-
over me. Yes.
Almost on pure instinct, your first slash is at the chains connecting Madison and Willow. And the two of you snap out of it, feet away from this scene. But Cadence, your follow through is just a little bit too much as
Uh-oh.
you
Yikes.
slash your claws across all the chains, biting into Victoria's flesh.
Oh.
Understand.
But
Oh.
you see all the chains shatter. And people... Madison and Willow, you only vaguely remember the very last few moments of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But there is... calm washes over. Everyone snaps out of it. Victoria, you feel full control returned, but these stinging claw marks have just bitten across your front, ruining the dress. But you're free, and this Gangrel is in front of you.
So I know exactly what happened.
You know exactly what happened.
Do I know what force overcame me at all? Is it?
In your heart, you do.
It's Vikos, maybe?
Oh no.
No?
Oh no.
Kind of didn't think so.
You... A few years ago, it would be heresy to discuss the antediluvians. But your ego, if nothing else, your ego tells you that Arakel herself has been behind your rise. Everyone is very confused. People are just sort of milling around, like not sure what just happened.
Madison starts clapping.
I know how to spin this.
Okay.
I'm going to raise the hand. I'm going to grab the Gangrel's hand and raise it.
Oh, with the
Bloody
claws
hurt.
out.
Oh, and something to note, Victoria. These claws are about an inch longer than any Gangrel's claws you've ever seen, and they are made out of pure iron. But you have a show. You have definitely the moment is passing for you to spin this.
Right. I raise her hand up as high as I can raise it, and I say, "This Gangrel, this woman, saved our lives tonight.
Clap. Yeah.
This
Everyone's like,
woman saved our lives from an obvious threat of one of the Methuselah cults that have been ravaging our cities in the United States." I'm going to spin it that way.
Okay.
And I'm going to activate Majesty.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everyone's eating it up.
We're gonna buy it.
Can I add something to this? Like
Absolutely.
she's gonna be like, you see that fucking Jeremy? Fucking face, you told him!
She has saved our lives tonight. And for that, we should all be grateful.
There's general applause. There's some mixed slow clapping at this notion of a Gangrel anarch that we should be praising, but overall the message gets across. And perhaps the night did not end exactly as planned, but it was certainly memorable. And certainly a connection has been made amongst the most unlikely of kindred. And that is where we're going to end the game for tonight.
Hell yeah.
So, looking at our totals here, I see with 2,000 bits, D. Overton has gotten the top spot in our charity giveaway. So I will be in contact with you very shortly regarding the solo session that you have won. So that'll be fun. But we've gone a little bit over. So I want to wrap this up, get everyone back at home. Thank you so much, Selena, for portraying Victoria Ash. You knocked it out of the park. I love it.
You're great.
Is there anything that you'd like to let the people know about?
Yeah, I'm doing a podcast. It's not out just yet. I actually haven't quite recorded the first episode yet, but it's going to be Charlotte by Night. It's going to be about Charlotte, North Carolina by night.
I love it.
And there's going to be a twist to this podcast in that the whole premise is that I'm trying to bring knowledge to the less known areas of Charlotte.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Nice.
So I'm going to be like game stores, that kind of thing.
Oh, fantastic. I love it.
Yes.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming. We'll definitely have your information out there. When you have more information about the podcast, we'll share the hell out of it.
Thank you so much.
Does anyone else want anything to talk about before we head out?
Yes, actually.
Oh, boy.
So, excuse me for one moment.
Uh-oh.
So, last session, I told you guys that I was making pretty bags, and I showed the dice bag off that I did for Seattle. I really want to unload this fabric because it's so cool, and I don't want to keep it all to myself. So I wanted to show off another craft that I did. That if people want, feel free. I took the LA one, and I made a little makeup brush holder.
I
So
love that.
if people want dibs on this, like,
Hi.
okay, alrighty, sure. Yeah, it's cotton, you can roll it up, but
Right.
she may want this one. But if other people want stuff made out of this, please contact me. We can
Absolutely.
make
All her
something
contact
work.
information is available on our sites. Anything else from Mo or Dylan?
A Duets with Dice episode will be coming out tomorrow around 8 o'clock.
Boy. Okay, great. Dylan, anything?
Fuck Nazis.
Oh, yeah, fuck
Hell
Nazis.
yeah.
Fuck
Nazis.
Nazis.
Indeed. So this is the end of the Idle Hands arc. The next arc will be called The Devil's Playground. It's going to be a bit more action-oriented, but we are going to be taking a slight hiatus for the month of August. There's a lot of stuff that I have to get together for the stream. There's some changes in Simulacra Studio in general. Hopefully we'll have more of that. Yeah, that too. So definitely we will be seeing everyone in September after Dragon Con locally, which is our big thing. But yeah, absolutely. Most certainly fuck Nazis. I would absolutely love to thank all of my patrons for supporting the show. And in particular, Mr. David Haddad, Mr. Michael Tyson, and Miss Mo Ferrer, who give me $5 a month, and I love them for it. I know, you. You can definitely support the show and the channel in general by going to our Patreon. And you can also subscribe on Twitch now that we are an affiliate, and that will
If you have Twitch Prime, you have a free sub every month.
You absolutely do, although you have to keep re-upping that if you want to keep throwing it our way. But
you can come back and watch us.
Absolutely, you can come back and watch us. And of course, you can just give us money when we're not there, through via bits when we're not giving it to charity. I'll have the final numbers of what we got later, and it'll be posted on our sites. But yeah, it's 10:30, and I'm super tired. So good night, everyone. Thank you for watching. Thank you for playing, and we will see. Hold on, I'm going to put the names of my patrons up real quick, so I don't have to edit it in later. Give me 1 second. Where did you go?
Nazis.
Oh yeah, very much fuck Nazis. There are the names. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Good night.